acknowledge professional video gamers as athletes.
The crowd, everyone's cheering the team on, you make friends, these are people you talk to, you play with online. It's all about community, it's being part of something that you're incredibly passionate about.
And welcome back as we are currently jumping into our third map in this grand finals here for the Nerd Street Gamers Valorant Winter Championships. LG is up 2-0. And again, I think it's important I address something. I said surprisingly. The reason I say surprisingly is not because I think LG sucks. I don't think they're a bad team. But Sentinels
definitely not.
Is mostly ranked by everyone in competitive Valorant as number 1 or number 2 in North America. Some people even say in the world. So to see this happen is very surprising, especially looking at the tail end of last year and how LG just was unable to find success looking at First Strike, failing in the qualifiers to make it into the main event, compared to a team like Sentinels who won multiple Ignition Series events. That is why I say this is surprising. I think that LG is playing fantastic, and we've seen it throughout the last 2 maps, and you can see it here in the clips as well from map number 2, which was Bind.
Exactly that, Buck. When you were asking me when we started the beginning of this broadcast, you said, you know, what's in store for, what do I find about this event so far watching it? And I talked about how 2021 could be very surprising for NA Valorant. Because before this event, before this grand finals, we would comfortably say, okay, we have 100 Thieves, Envy, TSM, and Sentinels as arguably the top 4, not in any order, and these guys could beat anybody on any given day, and any other team that's past that is slightly behind. But now when you're looking at this, where LG is able to win so far 2-0 in the series, Energy is able to get an upset on 2 Sentinels during the group stages. Close matches with Envy as well in the quarterfinals for Sentinels. And you have BBG climbing up the ladder. You have Equinox climbing up the ladder. What's in store now for North American Valorant after this event? It seems as though you're back in that conversation where potentially, when you're looking and ranking the top 10 teams, anybody could still beat anybody. We're back in our conversation of back in the day when you also had Gen G in the mix and stuff of those conversations. So it's nice to see now organizations like LG, organizations like Nbox are able to put up good fights and make this challenging for these players. And it's just a nice opening door to what's coming up for the Champions Tour, the Challenger Tour coming up as well for Riot. So I think this continues to be is going to continue to be a very amazing year for this esport.
So looking at the maps, LG wins Icebox. That's Sentinel's pick. They win Bind. That's their own pick. Now they move to Split, a map they did pick at times throughout this event. They beat Equinox and they beat Energy on this map. But at the same point in time, I'm pretty sure they lost to an X set on it both times. They beat a team called 2D, who was a bit of a pug team. That was a bunch of OG gamers who
Shout out to Jimmy Lin.
Probably recognize. Yeah, you had Lin, you had Miller in there, and then our boy Toy was chiming in as well. But when you compare who they've played versus who they're about to play, things are a lot different. Now, that said, they've got two big advantages. One, I don't think anyone on Sentinels thought they'd be coming into map 3 with a 2-0 deficit. And two, they get to start on the defensive side. So they get a serious leg up. Now, we have seen some incredible attack-sided halves on Split this tournament. Looking at a team like Cloud9, for instance, who was dominant on the map all tournament long. So it's certainly possible that Split could start off in favor of Sentinels, and they are a team that is notorious for getting strong attack sides because they have some very proficient aimers. I'm curious to see if LG can keep it going.
Well, here, Bach, you said it. When they lost versus XSET on this map in the group stages, it was 13-8 and 13-4. Them getting the defender side first could be very good, but at the same time, they've played this map enough here in this tournament where Sentinels can maybe watch a couple of ways that they could be quite readable once they take the attacker side. But who knows? We were saying how it was very much of an underdog story for Luminosity Gaming. And they're definitely proving us so far that they're here to play, and they're definitely the stronger team so far in this series. Now looking at the agent composition and moving through, we have Sick switching over to a different agent. We're probably going to see Sick play his 4 agents throughout this best out of 5, already being on the 3rd out of the 4, switching now to the Sage. Stellar also playing Sage as he did on Icebox, and you have Moose going away from Silva and playing Omen, knowing that here in North America, Silva is not that useful.
The wall goes down pretty much instantly, and so does the slow orb. That'll be Stellar who's throwing those ones down. You've already seen Stellar play Sage during this tournament and during this match even, this series. But the mid control currently being gathered up by Sentinels. The setup right now with Thief around the corner playing as Reyna. We've seen great things from Thief on that play as Reyna. And how on earth is Stellar still alive? How is this happening? Your boy Dre, Stellar, and Thief all chime in. Six trying to peek from over in B main. And now it's down to 1. The last player is Sick as Zoms was dropped by his side. Thief is going to get 3 kills on the round. Dueling Sages. I don't remember the last time we saw a match of this caliber with Sage on both sides. It's been months.
Definitely in North America, it's been quite a while, and I don't know. I have that same question mark as to how Stellar was able to stay alive on the top of that Heaven side. I mean, he was hit by a huge paranoia from Zoms, but I think the counter that came out was your boy Dre supporting him from Heaven side, throwing those pain shells on the ground. Didn't allow for Sentinels to push up and go aggressive for that split into the B side in the end. But the thing is, at least Stellar should have dropped, but it was good enough. LG comes in for the fight with the Frenzies nonetheless. Frenzies shredding through close range battles here on the male side and gives the advantage for the defender side. Thief playing a corner where he's not going to be affected in this round by the boom bot, and he's just going to hold a tight angle to watch the rope side with a crossfire from Stellar, knowing that they gave up the A ramp early and a split could eventually be coming from Sentinels from mid side.
Ooh, Thief has to be careful. Wants to try and get out of dodge. Can't quite get there in time. Stellar has to chime in with some support, but also only able to pick up 1. That is a weapon dropped over now. As the paranoia comes through, the tripwire is going to give away position. Stellar doing great work finding 3, now shifting into position on site. There's 2 players here that Stellar has to worry about. Stellar's found 4. No ace today. Your boy Dre's going to steal it in the end. Anti-eco kills, so sure, maybe not as impressive as some of the other 4Ks we've seen across the series, but a good start here for Stellar and the boys on LG as they pick up, I think, their first pistol. I think they lost every pistol in this game thus far.
And you saw the pings coming in from the A side. I think that was on the attacker. So it could be a call from Sentinels to say, look, a Proto actually placed a kill trap wire towards the back of the spawn side when you drop from Heaven, because you heard him say, caught one from the back of the screens, and you got the kill in from Stellar. So they adapted to the push very well from LG. Give them Heaven side, take control, get smoked out towards screens. Well, the trap wire could help you to get those frags, and it works out. How does Sentinels adapt to this so far? They can't yet, because it's LG pushing forward towards that mid side instead. It's a trade-off again. That's the name of the story in this series. Trade at the trade, but still the advantage for Sentinels, although they have 2 players low on HP, and Sick is on a big backstab flank.
I love the utilization of the wall here. making them think that he's in the site. Now they're clearing out everything, but they're realizing, hey, who put this wall up? This wall kind of rough. Now, that doesn't stop them. They continue to look around on the B site for that player, but then they realize, hey, he's not actually here. That said, Sentinels gained control of B, but didn't really do much with it. Sure, Sick was able to get this big backstab, but you didn't see a change of position, really. They're still back in spawn.
Yeah.
That also gives them flexibility, so there's something to work with. With only 2 players left currently, the Cypher and Reyna split across the map. Either way they go, they're likely to have a weak site. Cypher was starting to rotate into position, but it doesn't really pan out. Now, they're going to hear those shots in heaven, and they're going to realize what's going on, and that's going to force Thief to try and make this play happen. It's going to be an impressive miracle if he can pull this off here. There's the shots coming through. Hold on, the spike potentially getting dropped by Thief, and it is. Thief's trying to get away. Has to be careful. There's still one more on the site. Proto's trying to get into position. Dapper's around the corner. There was an opportunity there for Thief to really shut things down, but thinks that one's on the flank when there wasn't. Sentinels win their first attacking round.
Everybody had question marks in that round, pretty much. The reason why Sentinels didn't really react on that backstab from Sick on that mid side is because they know they still had presence from a Proto on mid. Nobody peeked out to fight. The spike was still down towards Ramen, and once that was picked up, you had Thief playing at hell side of B. He's like, okay, where is this going to happen? He moves out towards that B main, and once he hears the first shot from that heaven side, he still thinks that there's potentially a flank coming in from Robin still. So he's looking back and forth, and unfortunate on that timing at the default spot, he dies, and that put the Proto in a difficult spot trying to rotate from male side. But now it's just an explosive round from Sentinels into this A site, as Moose and your boy Drake gets the first 2 kills, but it's traded off by Zombs. Already in a rotation coming in from the spawn side, though, as Moose is still alive inside the site. He's now spotted. This could be huge right now, as your boy Drake gets the kill from the site at the screens. Sinatra trades it off onto a Proto. They still a 1-minute advantage, make that a 2-minute advantage for the defenders inside the site, leaving Sinatra by himself at heaven. They're closing in on him. They know he's at heaven, and your boy Dre goes in for the 4K. And LG, they take the round right back from Sentinels.
A nice little 4-piece there from your boy Dre, 6-1-1. As, yeah, you mentioned it, they take it right back. Sentinels win 1 round, immediately sent back down to pistols because the money isn't balanced enough. The amount of players that survived previous rounds for them, not high enough. So Sinatra has enough to force up with the SMG. So does Zombs. They'll be able to buy in the next round. So they'll go to the Stingers. You can't blame them because their Stinger play has been pretty solid. And this map in general has so many tight corners that the Stinger can work out quite nicely for you. Again, you'll see that early wall utilized in mid. I feel like we're casting Valorant 6 months ago. There's the nade coming in on the back of the Boombot as well. Thief wants to back off. Now, Thief hasn't really used Lear too much to go for the peaks.
Correct.
And still won't do so. So Thief is just going to kind of hang back. We saw Thief using Curveball pretty aggressively when playing as Phoenix on Bind, but here, playing a little bit more passively. I want to make sure that Thief isn't scared to play the way that Thief plays, which is incredibly aggressive.
The thing is, though, for the defender side, they kind of don't want to give up this heaven side too, right? Because you're wasting a lot of your, or not wasting, but you're utilizing a lot of your Sentinels kit this time towards B side. So you definitely don't want to leave your Omen by himself in the back of the site. And now as they give the control away for Sentinels up towards this A heaven, there's still so much that Sentinels could do. They could still take ropes back to the mid side, but they're going for the regular wall towards the back of the spawn. But then your boy Dre with the showstopper from the top of the Sentinel charge. First kill to Shazam. Surprised by Sick right after that, but they still have 2 players inside the A site. Sinatra looking to rocket jump inside the site, but Moose swings out just on time. Orbs onto the ground. We have Zombs trying to fall back, being hunted by Thief at the same time, and they are running to B. But you still have Stellar waiting just on the other side. Face-to-face onto Dapper, and it's going to be another face-to-face at the male with the stronger weaponry. Gets another round for Luminosity as they take the lead by 3. It was close. It looked pretty good on a surprising push from Sentinels towards the spawn side, but just unfortunately not enough.
Yeah, they went for a full 5-man heaven push on the A site, and it looked like they were going to try to wrap spawn. But then the ult comes through from your boy Dre. It cost them 1. He gets traded out. The wall gets taken down as Stellar tries to get around the corner. There are still player screens, 1 spawn, so they crossfired onto Sick, who couldn't get around the corner in time. The utility coming in for Sentinels is pretty solid from the Shadows, Bladestorm, and of course they've got that res for Sick as well. Now, they've also got res here on the defender side. So LG has the ability to take a player advantage if possible. That's an early kill you hate to see happen. A Proto wants to take advantage of this, tries to run forward a little bit, has to be careful now as the positions have been given away by the neural theft. Thought maybe they could get in there quick, but a Proto will end up getting dropped in the end. And like you said, that is massive. They'll go ahead and pop from the shadows to get the spike onto the A site. And the round going to be incredibly difficult here for LG as it's a 5-on-3 with a spike planting on the A site.
And there's just so much flanking going on right now from the ropes, from the spawn side. You have one watching it from the sewers. It's just going to be so hard, but they're pushing in quick. Your boy Dre gets 2, a Stellar gets 1. And just like that, they've taken over the A side. Moose cuts the rotation from the flank of Shazam. It just leaves it down to Stick, and Moose stops them. Somehow they're able to run in once again and just surprise Sentinels to get the kills and to get the defuse.
That's a 5-on-3 with ult.
Oh my God.
They have the res. And they still lose. That could be a technical 6-on-3 if played right. You would have that res capability. How did they make that look so easy? They just fully collapsed, and it was all off the play from your boy Dre.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, looking back at the old 100 Thieves roster when it was High Ground plus Hiko, your boy Dre was maybe the only highlight. That team just never clicked. Things did not work out. That's not to say Hiko was bad, but nothing was working. Looking at the 4 players who got cut, your boy Dre was arguably the most consistent performer.
Yeah.
And he is now a top performer with this LG team on this map, looking fantastic. Speaking of looking fantastic, there's Thief, doing what Thief has done all game long. Now, Thief has to be careful because they didn't have Heaven control. That allows Sinatra to get into the belly of ropes and get up on the flank, and there's that res coming through. So that's a little concerning right now, as that gives Sentinel an advantage. Moose on the flank. Oh no, Moose. That's not how that should go. The Stinger bests the rifle. The boy Drake has a backstab onto Shazam. So much for the res, it's been neutralized. Now they still have a res here on the defense, and you can see they've got Stellar currently wrapping around. Was debating picking up Thief, but they're worried about this B site being lost, so instead Stellar has to reshift his focus and head back over to prevent this B site from being completely inundated with attackers. Your boy Dre still in position. Tries to shift focus to the planter. Understandable, but now Stellar will go back and go for that reg.
Which is totally fine. So Proto has to stay alive for as long as he can and even try to create a ruckus here. Here's the gun getting picked up towards the entrance of the spawn site. He sees the reload from Sinatra, and now here comes the first kill. Headshot on the Stick. A second one to put Sinatra low, but with the Sage dead, it's low HP for the 2 players remaining. Only Dapper at the pillar. The first kill to transfer, but runs out of bullets with the Stinger, and he sprays across, but Thief gets the kill. The retake works out for LG. We now have a 6-1 scoreline, and you were talking about it before of how impressive that was there for Sentinels to take that mid side and to be able to split back into B. But LG, those guns coming in from a Proto, I mean, that's his first kill into the game in this map, but it was such an important kill that allowed them to win this round.
I think Thief still had a Lear left as well. You know, I don't want to harp on that too much, but Thief just does not seem to be using Lear. He just doesn't like it. We'll see if that changes as the map progresses here. Thief 10-5, your boy Dre 11-3, 21 kills between the 2 of them. That is solid work, more than the entirety of Sentinels when you combine their 2 scores. Again, Sentinels fall short in the late round. This is reminding me of Bind, where LG would end up in close situations, but somehow Sentinels would fumble away the late round and allow LG to come up with something miraculous. That retake just a few rounds ago on the A site, a perfect example of that. And this again, they had that B site free and clear. It felt like that round should have been theirs.
They hope to get it now. They have the guns in for Sentinels, and they're trying to split back into this mid to B. They could always switch back to A if they want to, but they're trying to get some sort of control. But you see from LG, you were talking about how you don't see Thief being that aggressive. Nobody from the team is being that aggressive so far. They're okay with playing the crossfires, the first smoke, and then even the shredded set to fall back towards the A side. Orb to get picked up, and a Parano to get ready so that maybe you have to swing back from Stellar from the Heaven side right after. So this is going to be a big setup, but a big hold needed as they lurk up towards the Heaven side, and they both fall towards Heaven. Moose is in a predicament. He does get the first kill, but he gets immediately traded out. So this might be finally the first round that they concede, with now a Proto just by himself. Let's see if it's doable. I mean, you have 2 players that are low on HP, and he just threw the neural theft.
Spike planted.
In goes a Proto, and down goes a Proto. Very quickly, he makes his way into heaven, and his demise is very rapid. 6 rounds to 2. Yeah, it was right where it needed to be. LG still have plenty of cash to fall back on, with the exception of a Proto, who was a little bit low on money. So he'll need a drop from somebody else. This could be a huge round for Sentinels to take. Should be close. Their money wouldn't be fantastic. They'd have, I think, 4 players who could fully buy. Your boy Dre has the ult showstopper available from the Shadows from Boost, and yeah, you can hear that already. There's the rocket coming out. No! Somehow, it's not lethal. It looked like it was good, but with Sage in play, a heal's going to come through. Now, Thief, timing will be key here. Hiding inside dark cover. There's one around the corner. That's Zombs waiting for the peek to come through. Thief is playing this one patient, and I love the fact that Thief does not peek, because that could have been so scary. That's a freebie for Stellar. That is crazy. Peek from mid, and just so like that, it falls down to 1. The timing on those peaks, the communication from LG was on point.
Yeah, definitely. So Dapper's on his own inside the A site. There you go. You talked about Leers. It's out, but Dapper does not make a sound. He does have the spike. He does have a minute to work with, so he could still lurk around. Being the Sentinel player now, walking into the site. Maybe he's just going to stick it at least to try to get some money here. So the spike's going to go down, and you have a rotation on a 4 versus 1. Things are going to get very hard for Dapper right now. Just at the elbow, doesn't get one at all. And you're talking about communication here, Bach. It's been stellar so far for LG. You saw it from the way that you have Thief inside that smoke, decides to fall back. But as he falls back, your boy Dre came up towards the rope side of the vents so they could cross her at the same time. And as that happens, as you have so many players focused on onto LG inside ropes, Stellar peeks out towards Mel to get the backstab. But the bigger question is, while these guys are having that communication, where was that communication for who was watching Shazam's back when he was trying to watch towards ropes? He's currently at 1 and 8, so he's not having that chance to be able to explode with the operator or anything at all for Sentinels, because LG are just doing a great job on the defender side.
It is a defender-sided map, though, so let's not forget that things could definitely shift once that second half begins. And still, there's time here for Sentinels to make this salvageable and promising. If they were to win out here 7-5, that's pretty solid for an attacking side half on this map. Nice nade coming in. That's going to flush them down into the lower side of ropes. Look at the control currently over towards B, because that Sage wall. Moose can push down bottom mid. He has to be careful, as they could be coming through sewers, and I think the call's been made, hey, don't push that, because we lost them, and they're very likely changing positions. It's all going to come down to timing here for Moose on whether or not he even peeks and finds something. Because, yeah, you can see there is presence currently still just kind of hanging out in mid. So I love the way that Moose is playing this one patiently. The problem is Moose is really disconnected from the play. So if they go A, he is going to be there so late to try to offer up support.
So a Proto has to come up big here with Thief inside that site, but I do like this around the world for Sentinels. Just using the clock in their favor. They don't want to rush things out yet. They still have plenty of time to work with. And that's a big showstopper that could open things up. But that's the second time that Sinatra tries to come out the window, and he is stopped right away. And the anchors inside the site are good for 3. Only 1 to fall, but a 2-minute advantage. They still have a res, but they only have 20 seconds. And that's a big kill from Dapper from the A ramp. Now the neural theft. Enemies now spotted from the defender side as the advantage comes in for Sentinels, as that could have been a big kill if he actually got sick rotating across. But Moose has so much HP versus a low HP for the Sentinels. The big paranoia gives the tell of where Zombs is at towards the back of the site. Moose is just trying to get the crosshair placement, and now it's a mind game. We made it in the back of the map. Moose swings, gets the kill, and clutches a 2 versus 1. And we're now looking at an 8-2 half in favor of Luminosity Gaming, but a big hold from a Proto and Thief inside A.
Massive stop yet again on Sinatra's ult. You mentioned it. That's the second time he's tried to come in off the top ropes, jumping out of heaven, going for the suplex, and he just gets backhanded. Not on my watch, says Thief. Not today. 8 rounds, LG. 2 rounds, Sentinels. Look at how many times Sentinels has gotten site control. 4 plants in the last 5 rounds that they lost. Consecutive retakes and defuses coming in for LG as we get closer and closer to the end of this first half. Shazam is sitting on a 1-9, a player who typically performs so well on this map, but a large part of that is economic control. We talked about this earlier. They can't get him an op because the money is not where it needs to be. So he's just hamstrung. His efficacy is reduced. We do have one ult available in the round. It'll be from the shadows for Zoms. Good damage being dealt early on to Thief, who has to be careful. A Proto, you don't want to see that, especially with Thief so low on the site. Putting a lot of pressure on Thief, who has to go for this peek off the nade. Sinatra finds 2, gets redemption off that failed ult from the previous round. This one seems unlikely for LG, but at the same point in time, it wasn't that long ago that they won a 5-on-3 retake. So
that was, yeah, and just very unusual to see that a Proto wasn't able to connect to those shots. Again, as we were saying how good it's been throughout this whole tournament, that's usually not something that that's common on that slight mishap on the attempt of a pick.
Spike planted.
That nade coming in just lands a little bit short of where it needs to go. They're trying to spam the billboard, but it's not connecting with the player who's back behind it. LG tries to go for a flank by way of Stellar, and that too has been stomped out. The remaining 2 coming in from screens in heaven with great positioning across the site for trade peaks that could come through. It's just impossible. Sentinels is playing this so well. Now they do lose Sinatra. Zoms is still back behind the sign. They're trying to make this one at least cost some money, make this one deadly. Your boy Dre's probably going to die here in a second. And there's the execution coming forward. The final kill will come in at the end as well. 3 rounds for Sentinels. LG should have plenty of cash to buy in the next. But it is the last round of the first half. Again, we could have a 9-3 scoreline. How crazy would that be?
Yeah, and that was just a strat for Moose and his teammate on that 4 versus 2. Just try to make sure that you kill your opponents and make it costly for them into the last round, because they knew that the economy was struggling for Sentinels, and they're okay to go for rifles here. There was a potential where you might have seen some Spectres and some Stingers again, with a couple of Phantoms maybe for Sentinels versus what they'd have for LG into this round. But good on Sentinels to keep them all alive, as many players as possible, and even an early kill on a face-to-face mirror match at Long B. And now they're still continuing to aggress on the A side of the map, flushing Thief out from paint shells of Sinatra, looking back towards the A ramp, but they are falling behind by 2 players, including a player that had a res here from Stellar. But they see the cross back towards mid side. They seem to maybe think the attack is happening towards the B side, where Moose is once again pushed all the way up towards Long B, which means that he's going to be in a position to backstab at some point when he hears his footsteps.
We've seen this before, though, from Moose, and it hasn't really produced the success we hope for. A Proto goes through, at least we'll find a kill, but Moose decides it's more beneficial to go back towards the B site than to try to go up through mid. We'll have to take a face-to-face battle with Zoms, whose backside currently might be able to sneak in. Oh, it's a free one onto Shazam. He wasn't ready. Thief also sneaks through. Because of the fact that they lost Shazam, they lose site control towards spawn, and that allows Thief to get into this position, but that's a huge shot coming out from Zoms, and again, it's on to Moose. There's the Shrouded Step to get away. Not really much could be done. That's a big pick. You said it, from Zoms, from backside. Had they let Thief get into that position, it could have gotten real scary real quick.
And the tell was already there because he threw the paranoia from the backside. So you saw that Thief already had the crosshair placement to try to get that kill. But Zoms was quicker on that trigger, on that wide swing in the end to win that 1 versus 1. And this makes it very salvageable, for Sentinels and the second half. 8-4 is not too shabby in the end. We said maybe it would look to be very dominant right now for LG on the defender side with the way that they've been retaking, right? Bach, you talked about 4 defuses. The retake game for LG has been on point throughout this whole series, but just good on Sentinels to be able to bring this back onto an 8-4, where it's not over for them in this series. It could be over if they lose this map, but if they don't, we will go to Haven, where they still stand a good chance.
Let's see how things start off here in the second half. Early damage being dealt by Sick. That's just shots coming downrange. Sinatra wanted to send some paint shells through this smoke. Decides not to, and is just patiently waiting for it to fade. And once it's getting closer and closer to dissipating, realizes that backing off is the ultimate play. Now there is a Sage wall down, so Stellar is going to start slashing away at that ice. And then finish it off with the shots, because you don't want to be up there throwing knives at that sucker when someone's on the other side waiting for you. It is going to be an A play. There's 3 players currently in that position. You've got Jet playing towards screens, Omen in sight, that's Zoms, and then Sick is back towards the bottom of heaven on the other side towards spawn. Now, with that wall going down, they're actually going to make noise towards B. There is all the pressure on Stellar and Thief to make this work out. They have to sell this fake. That's the nice wall coming in. That'll make it even easier because they can't get an accurate count. They don't know how many players are coming through. This is huge. Now Thief gets the kill onto Dapper. That's going to sell it even more. Nice dink shot coming out, but all of a sudden they realize, oh God, guys, we fell for it, didn't we? Sight's been lost on the other side of the map, and it's an open plant. This is set up so nicely for LG.
And even Stellar is watching the flank before. He could be the late flanker through ropes in the end. Sinatra's trying to watch it so far in the rotations. Back for the other three members of Sentinels by screens. But you still have Omen in the back of the site. Stellar looking for this kill. Will connect onto Sinatra with the headshot. And now coming in from hell, that's your boy Dre and Stellar making it a 3 versus 1. Low on HP. He could maybe get only 1 kill at this point. But we're just playing that time. This is so well played by Moose, just by the back of the map. And that's it. This is going to be the round coming in for LG. A big pistol. And you said it. It has to rely on those 2 players on the B Heaven side. And for Thief to be able to get an opening kill onto Dapper. And for Stellar to get a dink shot onto Sinatra. That was the biggest sell ever. If those guys were selling cars, they sold all the Cadillacs.
That was an incredibly well set up pistol round. The way they utilized their utility, that Sage wall towards B Heaven, neutralizing Sinatra's threat. Sinatra not getting the kill on the Sage wall before it fortifies, not breaking that ice, helps sell that fake so much more because, again, they have no idea how many players are potentially moving in. So I love that. It works out so nicely for LG, puts them on 9 rounds. That's exactly what you want to see starting out your second half, as again, this map is still very D-sided, regardless of the updates that have come through from our friend Magneto. Now, Thief is going to take some damage in the back, but got Sage right there backing you up. So why are you even concerned? There's the heal coming through, and of course he's also got Devour, so he can self-heal for days.
Makes you wonder what's going to happen in a month when the updates are going to come out here for this map, where they're trying to make it more attacker-sided too. But it's going to be something to talk about in the later podcast. Moose going for 2 kills in the front of B main as Sinatra and Dapper on an eco trying to go for this push. Now your boy Dre looking for information. He collects the information and collects the lies of Sig and Shazam. Already an easy plant. Zom's on his own, and he's just looking to do some econ damage as much as he can. He hasn't invested into anything at all, so it's going to be okay for him to play maybe like the last few seconds into the round to try to get some extra kills and salvage a round, and if he doesn't, die to the spike. Not an issue here.
There's some shots coming out from Zom, looking to get at least a kill to do some damage. That means that the next round will be a bonus from LG as well. You know, they're going to come into this next round with what they've got, 4 SMGs and a Bulldog, and if they find any semblance of success, a couple of kills in a spike plant, that's huge. You know, that impacts the economy because you can see how the money is wasted down to 0. 6 on $100 right now, living paycheck to paycheck. So that's brutal for the boys on Sentinels if that's what ends up happening. An impressive second half start. They pick up another pistol. They win both pistols here. They did win the second half pistol on Bind. I misspoke earlier saying that the first pistol they won here was the first pistol they won this series. But solid work from LG here in the pistol rounds and also in their anti-ecos, keeping themselves alive, keeping themselves with some serious cash build up.
Definitely. I mean, it's the 2 most important pistol rounds in this series, being on split, a map picked by Sentinels in this series as well. And now they're looking to seal the deal on a 3-0, but Stoms has a different answer in mind, and he just holds it up. Aproto doing whatever he can, but it's not too bad. It was basically a bonus round for Luminosity Gaming. So they're going to be able to come in for a buy into this one here. They actually forced the buys off 2 other players, which potentially could be very low. Shazam could maybe drop one onto Zoms, but they're still in a predicament that if they lose this round here, they're back on an eco again. So LG still sitting comfortably at least into this round. But they themselves this time in the second half cannot make a mistake here, because this is where things could start spiraling up for Sentinels, where they could build the economy back.
After what we saw from LG in the last 2 rounds, I expected a little bit more in that round. That was kind of sloppy. That felt completely out of place with what we've seen from them already. And this is not a good start either, with Thief being taken out. One of the top performers for the team. So that one's going to sting just a bit. As Six wall goes out in mid, it does start getting broken down. Six got to be careful. The Boombot going to come out from their raise as well. Sinatra and Sick, though, ultimately going to be flushed out of position. They'll retain player advantage, but they'll surrender up some control of mid as a result.
So working back slowly towards the A side is going to be LG. Zom is still holding his ground inside the A main. As he puts a one-way smoke, but nobody was there to try to collect any information. So it's a free cross for our Proto, but they do have a crossfire setup with Sick being the first man in contact. And he might try to bait it out here so that Shazam could swing out and try to get a couple of trades. Especially with a one-man advantage, it's okay for them to try to go for that type of information play. And Shazam gets the first kill, but he gets immediately traded out. Zom's about to get hit by a paranoia as he's still holding back towards the left side corner. Ooh. Big trades, a 2 versus 2, as now Moose takes control with the Proto. 2 players that you definitely want alive here in this 2 versus 2, but Sinatra is also alive for the Sentinels, who makes it a 2 versus 1. Back onto the last man. There's no time left on the clock. He has to act quick onto his kills, but Dapper doesn't even allow him to get anything done, not even a plant. And they're slowly catching up here in the second half for Sentinels.
Hey, Proto just wasn't ready for that play coming out of heaven. So it's another round here for Sentinels. Again, defensive-sided map. So despite the scoreline, don't let it fool you. Things could easily turn here in favor of Sentinels in a map 4 ever possible. Seeing your boy Dre performing the way that he has been, though, this map does kind of make me miss the old high ground roster. The 1-2 punch of your boy Dre and Venerated back in the day. Even in their time on Her Thieves, even though that, roster ultimately didn't find the success we would have liked to see based on the hype we gave them coming out of the early stages of beta, going into 1.0 competitive. You do miss that team. You kind of wonder, what if? Maybe that team stuck together with the core 5, would things have worked out differently? It's tough to say, but your boy Dre's putting on a performance here. His team, though, in a position where they're likely going to surrender some bodies, but early on, it's a nice pickup from your boy Dre. The nade hits and slows him down. The frenzy with the follow-up. There's a lot of pressure on this B site coming in from LG, and the fact that they can pull a player off into mid and force them to just have one player on the site might mean that this Cypher has to bail. So as this ult comes through, Dapper might have to back off and go towards spawn. But no, Dapper's going to stick around. Tries to stay inside it. The rocket's going to miss. The tripwire connects as well. There's the verticality coming in from Sinatra off the blast pack. Around the corner goes Sinatra. He's flying in. It's the full house for Sinatra and Dapper. 3 for Dapper, 2 for Sinatra. LG throws up deuces and expects it to work.
Give it to Dapper to not show any fear at all from hearing the showstopper coming out from your boy Dre. Just staying that one, hitting a kill trap onto the second kill was just a beautiful play on anchoring that site for Sentinels, where it could have turned things around quite differently for LG should that rocket connect from your boy Dre onto Dapper. Your boy Dre probably still expected somebody towards the back of the site or somebody retreating towards spawn. So to have that face-to-face battle from Dapper definitely surprised him and made him miss that rocket. And you saw from the beginning of the round, though, the way that Sick plays that wall towards that mid side was actually pretty good. Yes, there was a gap in there, but it also allows for players that if they don't go for an early spray into the wall and they want to try to creep up to kind of do like the knife into the wall or try to get close to go for a satchel charge over, well, they won't be able to do that because they're still holding the angle. That said, though, into this gun round, Shazam, who's been quiet on this map, is able to get the first kill onto the round. The wall comes up for LG for the 4 remaining players to try to take control towards this heaven side.
That was a massive mistake from a Proto as well. Getting across, but didn't have any utility left to get away. So didn't have the cyber cages necessary to try to escape. I like this setup. They put the wall down and they're going to sneak their way away. Now Dapper gets a trade underneath the smoke through the wall as well. Zoms is here and prepared, and there's backup as well from Sick. This is falling apart exactly as you would expect it to, but hold on.
He reses.
Stellar stays alive. He's got the res coming through. Self-heal on the line as well. So this is now a 2-on-2. This is what we've seen from LG. These late round recoveries off of some early round mistakes. It's happened before, and it looks like it could be happening again. There's still 2 left alive here on Sentinels. It's Shazam and Dapper. And Moose's position, it's all about timing.
Moose is playing that clock. He's just waiting for the cue to drop, so he's going to play it off Stellar. And as they both walk out towards this window, the first drop comes in. So that is going to be the cue for Moose to start lurking. And Stellar is looking for that information, but Dapper never moved. He continued holding that angle, and Shazam is able to win that fight versus Stellar. But good on them as well to force out the neural theft from Dapper that could definitely be needed into the next round, because now you're moving into another round where you have 3 ultimates available for LG. And that is going to have to be the Empress counting on Thief to try to get a couple of entries for them to get into the site for the information.
Oh, no. I mean, that couldn't have been set up better for them with Moose on that slow play coming on the flank. Dapper was actually looking the other way, not completely away, not 180 degrees. He was watching spawn in case someone pushed screens and was going to flank. Not expecting him to be coming from that side, but he gets the flick back because Moose just wasn't ready. Moose goes for a soft clear on the corner, and Dapper just reacts. Sentinels trying to call this one back. They are not out of this one at all. 5 on 2.
Remaining.
And make it 1. My goodness, this has happened so quickly. 1:25 seconds left, and there's only one player left standing. You know what the biggest problem currently is for LG? They had a lead. They don't play well when they have a big lead. They need to allow a close game. We talked about this. They're comeback kings. They're good when their backs are against the ropes.
Yeah. What do we do when we're in the lead? I have no idea. But the thing is, I forgot to mention too, for Sentinels, going into that previous round, they still are able to have the same amount of ultimates that they have into this round. So as much as I was talking about LG having 3 ultimates on their end, they still have a res and a showstopper to hold up the defensive side for Sentinels. So this is looking to be still a very tough battle for LG to try to take this map. Sentinels still looking very good on this mid control on that previous round, so they want to try that again. 3 players on that mid side, including Dapper, Shazam, and Sick, but as they get no battles early in the beginning of the round, they try to fall back and go back to the regular spots. 3 stack towards A side, 2 towards B, where you still have LG on their end, counting on Moose, maybe on an entry here.
Not with this camera. That's going to make it really difficult. Hold on. He's pivoting that cam. Timing could have benefited him greatly. They have to be careful because they know Sinatra's up here, so the call has been made. Because he's played this position so many times. The question is, are they going to be prepared for that spot? Because Sinatra's usually in heaven. And this off angle is going to prove to be difficult. And it's just an easy fall off there for Sinatra. And a follow-up from the paint shells can come through as well. Counter satchels from your boy Dre. 48 seconds left. As they're still trying to make up their mind about what they want to do. They still have a Cypher lurking over
exactly.
A Proto, so there's still possibility to pivot this play back. Nice nade to push Sinatra out of position, but again, that camera's still there. Slow orb comes down.
They have cyber cages up too.
I think they're going back towards this spot. Nice shot coming out from a Proto. Shazam had the op. We mentioned how he hasn't had much, but that makes things so difficult. They're going to go up with the wall, but go down in the end. It's a 4-on-3 numbers here for LG. They're trying to get out onto the site. They have to move quick. 16 seconds left. They have to try to get onto the site, but there's still players here. There's one sitting back behind the sign and 6 inside screens. They're going to spam as they make their way through, but no, they don't get across. 8 seconds left. They have to go for the plant. They needed Zoms to stay alive, and he doesn't. Open plant comes through. It's retake time for Sentinels.
Ballsy for them to plant towards that front, but because they still had smokes alive, so they put it towards that window side, and now here comes the from the shadow. Moose staying alive was a key round so far, but can they hold it? We have a res come back. The health advantage comes back for the Sentinels. They had the Blade Storm coming out from Shazam too as he dashes inside the site. A trade after trade of 1 versus 1, and as he drops towards that ground, it's missed, and Dapper gets the kill with 8 HP remaining, gets the defuse, and everyone, we are now tied 10-10 in this 3rd map.
How? Moose had that one. He had him dead to rights. And Moose just can't find the last bullet necessary. I mean, the fact that it even comes down to a 1v1, Moose's position should have been pivotal for setting that all up, closing it all out. Instead, we find ourselves tied up 10 apiece. Again, this is split. Defensive halves, just the name of the game. If you're on the attacking side, it's a game of inches. But as of yet, LG found the pistol round and the round that followed, but they have not found success. The same problems that plagued Sentinels at times in their attacking half are plaguing LG here. They can't manage to win those late rounds. They might find the advantage, get onto a site, set themselves up for success, a 3-on-3, sometimes even a player advantage, a 4-on-2. That's what that was. Became a 4-on-3 after the res, comes a 3-on-3, then all of a sudden it's down to a 1v1 like that, snap of the finger.
Bomb buddy out.
Well, the name of the game is also split throughout the scoreline on 10-10 here for both teams. Stellar 1 away from a res, as we still have some pressure coming up towards the Heaven side, but Sinatra is playing on the tall boxes instead. That Cyber Cage on that ground for Dapper could still throw things up and allow Slick to try to get a kill, but it's a trade that comes into an advantage of LG. Leaving right now a weaker B side, but Shazam's already on a rotation. He's about to come in close with the operator. Thief already falls. That was a quick snap for a kill and a quick retreat. That puts now Zoms on his own
left.
inside the A site. He has to hold this for as long as he can so that Shazam can rotate over.
Here they go, into the site. A Proto gonna be the first one in. No! Zoms! Zoms again! Doing what Sentinels has done the last several rounds, despite the fact that LG was in a great position to try to gain site control. Zoms this time is the one that puts his foot down and says no. While his performance in this game has definitely not been up to snuff, it doesn't matter. That's the round you want from him.
Yep.
As LG again fall short. They just can't manage to find a round here. And now they have given away the lead they worked so hard for. 10-4 after winning the pistol and the anti-eco. And now it's 11-10. 7 straight rounds from Sentinels. No answers from LG. It's not to say the rounds weren't close. Of course they were. You've been watching it. But it doesn't matter. Sentinels is finding the dubs every single time.
And LG, backs against the wall, are okay with playing with an eagle. No need to force all the way up. They want to play for counting on the Sheriffs. And so, like, a team like LG with Sheriffs is still very deadly. Think about it with Thief. Think about it with a Proto. But Proto so far in this series has not been tip-top shape versus what we've seen throughout this whole tournament. And it starts with the showstopper, pushes Sinatra's away. Your boy Dre low on HP because of that. But it's still going to be no map control gain here for LG as they try to go back towards the A Heaven. But the thing is, it's that thorn in the side from that wall that was up by Sage. So Sick puts that up, and that slows the clock down a lot more now for Sentinels. So easier for Sentinels to try to win this round off time. LG looking for a last-second push, potentially towards his B side.
Oh, Sinatra. He's playing on the corner of the box. Gonna do significant damage here. Ends up connecting on the tail end player. Stellar, despite being low on HP. Whoa, nice shot coming out from Thief, but there's still backup from Sick to try and stop this one. And an ult was utilized by Zoms, and I don't even think they realize, because they're so busy focusing elsewhere, they're not gonna be prepared for Zoms, who's currently just sitting in the back corner of sight. And you can see the strike come through. Now it's up to Thief, and Thief gets dropped as a shot hits him in the backside. 12 rounds for Sentinels. 1 round away from forcing map 4.
I thought that he did, just because I saw Stellar throw that slow orb towards the back of the site. They're like, okay, well, he's probably ulting towards the back of the side of B. Let's put the Frost Orb on the ground so he can't really push out while we plant. And then on a post-plant situation, they can really pay attention to Zoms eventually lurking out. But the thing is, I think everybody pretty much jumped into the site for Sentinels as well. So that makes it a lot harder for them to try to cover towards the back of the site when they have to worry about a Heaven drop coming in from the rotation. Nonetheless, though, they get the spike down. They have money in the bank for LG. To have to try to win these next 2 rounds to bring this into overtime, the storyline for Luminosity Gaming. If not, we are going into map 4. We are, and we will, or we might, go into Haven.
What does LG have? Because as of yet, it hasn't been much. We keep waiting for LG to make their way onto a site. The most promising round they've had, honestly, the most impressive round was the pistol round. They looked so good in that pistol round. The setup was flawless. But since then, it feels ham-fisted. It is so awkward and honestly kind of uncomfortable watching LG on the attacking side as they struggle to find openings across the map, and they're just dry peeking at times straight into the face of some serious opponents. But hold on, this might finally be it. I don't want to jinx it. We've seen rounds like this before. But with 4 players alive and this much distance between them and the defense, they actually have a chance to set up solid post plants. Again, their backs are against the wall. All of a sudden, that next level play comes out.
Sinatra has a showstopper. Let's see if it's going to be a third time where he tries to rocket out into the window and gets picked off. But with the first player already dropping, he might want to save that into the next round. Especially, you already see the Op trying to fall back a bit, trying to see if a screen push is coming. But Sinatra is still putting a lot of damage in. One peek, a headshot onto Thief. This could be doable now as he rockets inside, but does not get into elbow. And because it gets stuck into the wall, a Proto punishes him for it. That means Dapper is on his own now at the Heaven side. You know definitely that he's trying to save his weapon and try to do some damage at least to not allow Stellar and company to save their weapons into the last round, but they will be able to do so, and it's going to be decided in this last round of regulation.
See, there was no reason for them to not go for it. Like, they had no reason not to because the money is so good, it doesn't matter.
That's true. That as well.
They were like, whatever, we can throw away this cash, it's fine, make it rain. But now that they've got the money, how do they balance things out? It looks like Shazam has actually gone for an op and rifle purchase. So Shazam dropped the rifle, I think, in spawn, and will have the potential to go back and grab it. I couldn't tell if he was juggling between the two, but that's what it looked like. It didn't look like he bought one and then sold and then bought and then sold and then bought again. It looks like he bought one so that he could have that backup option just in case we come down to a close round like we've seen so many times in the past. Round 24, Vancilli. I wouldn't have it any other way. Based on the way that this series has played out thus far, it's not a surprise.
Definitely not. And if that's the case here for Shazam, I like it. But here comes the early wall as they're going to try to push aggressively, but Sick puts a Frost Orb on the ground. Already the spike has been dropped. And that maybe forced the rotation back when Sinatra comes out with the rocket and connects onto your boy Dre. The trade doesn't connect as Sinatra gets a third kill or a second kill onto Thief, making it only 2 players alive for LG. Big fat paranoia. LG moving forward with the Proto. Stellar trying to even up the score, but Sinatra trades it off. That hat trick that out prematurely called becomes a quad kill for Sinatra, and Sentinels are able to bring this into a 4th map.
We were wondering if they were going to be able to bounce back from those first 2 maps and be able to reset, and it was looking scary there for a little while, but Sentinels,
crazy.
They keep things under control. They come into that second half, and they end up picking up a huge win here on the 3rd map to force us into map number 4. 13-11, another close game. Even though it's a loss from LG, they kept it tight. The problem is that was their game to lose. They were up 10-4 at one point. It just honestly is kind of disappointing because it felt like after watching the pistol, we're like, okay, they're going to keep things going here on the attack. That attack pistol round was awesome. But then a lot of those attacking rounds, it just felt like they kind of just spread out and played like defaults. Went for sporadic peeks through smokes that cost them lives. We saw a couple times over on the A site, a Proto would get up into the corner and then didn't have a cyber cage to get away, and Shazam's holding with backup on ramp.
Yeah, I think that's it. I think it's more due to the fact that, like I said, when Sentinels take the defender side, they probably already know the strat book that LG might have going into this matchup, especially due to the fact that a Proto is one of those players, like many other Sentinels or many other Cypher players, is going to lurk towards that A main. And him being low onto the scoreboard means that it did a great job to be able to contain him on top of that. And when they're trying to go for these mid to A or just going for full out A rushes, Zoms was also ready to hold up the A main. How many times did he get 2-3 kills before allowing his teammates to rotate back from the B side to get the retake play in favor of Sentinels in the end too? I think Sentinels looked a lot better, definitely better than the first 2 maps. And maybe they're waking up now where we could potentially see that 5th map coming later on in a series.
Well, both teams have been giving it their all, but we're going to go ahead and throw things to a break before we jump into that 4th map. Sentinels do surprisingly bounce back. It was a little bit of a concern. LG was looking so good in map 1 and 2. Those were the surprises at first, but then it was like, okay, well, can Sentinels really bounce back from this? How demoralized are you after coming in as the heavy favorites over LG, but then dropping those first 2 maps, then losing the half and the pistol going down 10-4, but they keep themselves in the game. They keep moving forward. That's what professionals do. We're going to throw things to a break, and when we come back, map number 4 will be live here for the Nerd Street Gamers Valorant Winter Championships. Stay tuned. The grand finals continues on here as Sentinels end up finding a response on map number 3, forcing us to map 4. This is the Nerd Street Gamers Valorant Winter Championships. My name is Bach. Joining me on the show is Vansili. After the first 2 maps, there was maybe some concern from Sentinels fans that they were going to drop map number 3, especially with the way that LG came out swinging, going up 10-4 at one point. But that 10-4 didn't last very long. Sentinels respond with a ridiculous 9-1 round, or 9-1 half, excuse me, and end up taking that 3rd map. We'll be moving into map number 4 now. Vansili, what exactly was the issue here for LG? Why did this happen?
I think we talked about it during the break as well, Buck, in the green room, that, you know, there was a lot of dry peaks that came out from LG that really we didn't see much of like clear, concise execution from LG's way. Especially we talked about the Lear during the matchup that wasn't being used that much by Thief, where maybe a Phoenix could have been good, like a run it back from the way that they played the retakes on the site or try to get information, could have been big here for the team. In hindsight, though, it's not really on the detriment of the skill set that LG has that fell off here on that second half. It's just how good Sentinels also played at defender side. Because not only were they able to get the frags, of course, to be able to win the round, but the way that they were able to slow down any type of aggressive pushes from LG in the end. Like, look at the amount of times that LG tried to take control of B Heaven, that it was slowed down by slow orbs, pain shells from Sinatra, Saber Cage up by Dapper, which didn't allow for LG to get that many splits into the B site. So when they forced a hand back onto the A side, well, Zombs was just there and greeting them with open arms and just devouring their souls.
It did feel like maybe Thief's play on Reyna was kind of flat, which is synonymous for the half with LG. Felt flat. It didn't really feel like they had a dynamic building. It did start to feel like as the half went deeper and deeper, they just kind of ran out of ideas and got confused, which is unfortunate. You know, it didn't really feel like they knew what they were doing at times. Like, you had players getting picked off on the other side of the map really early in the round. You would see players getting picked off. And it was just, in general, a little bit confusing at times watching LG play on that attacking side. They had rounds, though, that were literally in their fingers. That one most specifically.
Yeah.
The Moose versus Dapper 1v1, again, former teammates from the E United days. Dapper survives with 8 HP. I mean, that is just not how you want to see things go. But to be fair, rounds like that they lost in the second half, they won rounds like that in the first half. So what Sentinels was doing to them in the second half,
man,
with rounds that maybe you feel like it shouldn't have happened, they were doing in the first half as well. So
they run rounds like that in the first 2 maps too, Buck.
Yeah, exactly. Like, reciprocation came through.
Yeah, definitely. So now we are moving into Haven, which is LG's map pick. I find this not necessarily confusing, but I want to know what LG has in store. I thought that LG probably would have picked Ascent as the 4th map. Yes, Sentinels does look good, or did look good, versus Endbox yesterday when they won, I think it was 13-6 onto the half, but we all know how good a Proto is playing Cypher on a map on B side, on this map, on Ascent, that is. So to let that go into the last map and to choose Haven, I want to know what LG has in store versus Sentinels, who they are very comfortable on this map too.
I mean, it's possible it's just a confident pick coming out from them as well, because they did have some success during the playoff stages, beating compared to Sentinels, who maybe struggled at times against similar teams. Win over Energy 13-11, 13-9 against Space Station, 13-7 again against Space Station in the rematch. One thing to watch out for is their attacking side seems to be pretty proficient on the side of Sentinels, whereas LG, you know, their defense is okay, but is it going to be strong enough to match up with the boys on Sentinels? Time to find out as map number 4 goes live. If you thought this was going to be a quick 3-0 for Sentinels, you'd be mistaken, as LG have proved that they deserve to be here, and they're fighting for a chance to hoist that trophy. It will be the first time I think they've ever done it as a team.
Sinatra, the first point of contact as they're rushing straight through from B onto the A site. Zom gets the first blood into this game, but 2 trades into the A site on this push clears out the A defenders, and the trap wire also shows that there's going to be a flank coming in from Phoenix from behind. Dapper at Heaven. Moose wins that fight versus Sick, the 4th agent that we were talking to you guys about, that we see Sick play in this series. But the jump out towards window, your boy Dre gets dropped. It's a 2 versus 2. LG does have Thief low on HP, hiding on the left side cubby. So it's Moose that's going to have to play the baited switch, but Dapper instead goes for the wall bang and gets the kill. The close range on the Frenzy. It's a 1 versus 1 mirror match for both of these Sovas as Moose is about to come up. Halfway through is the defuse. That is the timing. And now he's going to run up with his Frenzy, and he's going to get that win versus Sinatra. And a 4K for Moose gives a pistol round for LG.
Yeah, he'll end up falling in the end. It's a big round coming in from Moose. You could see that slight jiggle to pull him off the spike at halfway, going right back in. He hears the footsteps. He thinks the push is coming through. It's masterfully played by Moose, who starts off with a big 4K to take pistol. I like the approach from LG, kind of going unconventional. Not exactly around the world, but they do go through the B site, backside A, and end up getting a spike plant there. It still looked pretty good as Dapper did his best to try and get back in. But at that point, too much was lost.
Moose going to take that orb, definitely. With 4 kills on that first round and picking up the orb now, you're almost guaranteed into a Sova ult on the third. If you win this round here and you get a bonus round on top of that, it could be very tough when Sentinels gets the rifles in. But I don't want to speak too soon. They are able to turn things around here for Sentinels when they are on these ecos. And it's going to be Thief trying to lurk around towards his B control. So they have the Owl drone to clear out Garage. They're looking to maybe push towards the B side in the end, but they are looking for this control up towards Garage first.
Thief already all the way up. Oh, this is so awkward. How? Sinatra survives, upgrades as well. I thought that Thief would still be able to win that one, but the classic at point blank range doesn't really require much aim. It's basically just press against skull and fire. Dom right around the corner. Well, the Frenzy may be fully automatic, but the reaction time just a little too delayed from Zom, so it doesn't pan out the way you might expect it to. The spike will be planted on A. Darts coming in to try and keep them back. Recon Dart does give away the positions. There's the fly-in from Shazam, who tries to get point blank range. Shock darts coming out over top of the wall. 3 on 4. The flank is actually incredibly valuable, but it doesn't pan out as well as you might expect. Sinatra fully blind with nearsightedness from Paranoia. Dropped down to 1 HP. Does Sinatra die trying to jump out the window? 6 coming in on the flank. No, Sinatra's found one more. Sinatra does make it up on top of the box, and all of a sudden it's down to your boy Dre in the 1v1. This has fallen apart quickly. Has to keep his head focused in both directions. 6 should have this one. It's going to be very close. Coming down to the wire. Sentinels will pick up the round. 1.13 seconds left on it as LG surrender a thrifty round to Sentinels.
I did tell you, when it comes down to these pistol rounds, the eco for Sentinels on a map like Haven, it's still very dangerous. You could never guarantee the round there for anybody facing off against Sentinels right now. And LG, well, they got the answer face-to-face there after unfortunately falling from behind. I mean, when you saw that flank coming in from Sick, he had like 8 HP remaining, he had 1 HP remaining for Sinatra. It seems as though everything was right for LG to be able to win that round, but unfortunately it doesn't. With that, they're back on they're forced on an eco rather, and like I said, the Hunter's Fury is ready, but they don't have the weaponry to help out. So that kind of cancels out the Thumbleweed effect, or should I say the snowball effect, that they can pick up these rounds like 2, 3, 4 quick rounds in a row. That doesn't pay off, unfortunately. So now with these pistols, the range coming in from the Phantoms, it's just better for Sentinels, and it's going to be a flawless round for the defender side.
That last kill at the end from Sinatra on the Odin, that man is going to be a nuisance with that gun. Expect to see spam early on through garage doors from the window. We've seen that time and time again. It's scary how often it works. Often picking off players as they try to escape the T side or the attacking side doors. Well, after the big win in pistol, they do drop the round and then another, but now they can buy up full. This is the response round for LG. Could it potentially be the continuation of Split here if Sentinels can just keep on chugging? Remember, LG's attacking side left a lot to be desired on that last map. Hopefully we won't see the same problems here as they get prepared for another round. They do great damage early on to Sinatra, who's sitting about 15 to 20 HP right off the bat.
Yeah, it's a good start for them indeed. And also spotting Shazam at the top of the A-long forces him back, but Zoms is playing a very tight, close angle where you want to try to bait him out. Being spotted here from the heaven side with Thief, he did see the shoulder of Sinatra before he falls back. They saw Shazam in there, but they probably don't think that Zoms is waiting just around the corner as he's going to push out behind the Owl Drone. They're going to have that 2 versus 1 towards that long A while we're breaking trap wires towards mid. So we're really having Sentinels guessing right now. We've pulled out 2 defenders off the A side, and it's going to be harder for Zoms to hold the A side. At least, though, they get a kill towards mid side, and there is that crucial kill coming in for Zoms, but a little bit over-aggressive, gets traded up by your boy Dre. The plant will come in favor of Luminosity Gaming, but Shazam's already on the kill onto your boy Dre.
Look at this move
Last
as well.
Player standing.
Getting onto the site, sick, using Blaze Ball. Not prepared for that Blaze Ball to drop, but it doesn't matter. Even though he dies, the rest of his team is there for the cleanup. Shazam finds 3 on the round. As yet again, we go back to the A site here for LG. So 4 rounds, 4 A side plays. Even though in the pistol they technically started B, they wrapped around and ended up coming onto the A site. And I'm curious as to how frequently we're going to see them hit this A site throughout the half. Is part of that concern over the looming threat of Shazam getting an AWP in his hands, playing long-range battles from both B and C site? Because again, we mentioned this before. Even when they have the money, LG does not have the same AWP threat that Sentinels has.
No, you're right. And even then, when you're looking at LG, despite them having players that can AWP, they don't really recall or choose to choose the operator on their attacker side. And with a round like this, where they're going to go for a broken buy, there's a possibility that they want to utilize something like the showstopper to try to get the entries. But it's going to be Zoms that gets first blood into this round. So another round where LG falls short, but at least a long-range stinger from Stellar makes it look like a Spectre as Shazam gets picked off towards mid-side. Now as you have to run it back, you have a rocket as well from your boy Dre that connects onto Dapper, and as he tries to pick up a gun, Sinatra's just around the C-link to drop him, and Thief is on a late lurk. They don't have the spike plant because he's falling back towards his C-long, and Thief has to come up huge. He has to connect one-shots with the Sheriff towards the spawn. He goes for the peek, loses a fight. A lot more difficult for Moose to try to win this one right now, and he who had the Hunter's Fury since that 2nd or 3rd round still holds it in under his belt, which is why I think it's a missed opportunity on that 3rd round to use it, and Sinatra now makes it a 4-1 scoreline for Sentinels.
Rough start for LG, but a full buy comes in again. Again, they started off with that pistol round win and then lost to an eco. Not only an eco, but they lost a 2v1 against a player with 1 HP.
Yep.
That's frustrating. Actually, it was a 2v2. Sinatra got a kill with 1 HP. Falling out of heaven, mind you, onto the box, still managed to get a kill. I'm pretty sure it was midair. We didn't see it from our perspective, but based on the timing, it likely was midair.
Okay.
So...
And now you have
LG.
2 of your star players too, right? Thief and Proto, where we want them to step up. They're currently both at 1 and 6.
Right. Maybe they just want to play map 5. But
I mean, and it's also a different team, but I've seen similar scenarios in First Strike when you had Dicey and Nitro also very, very low when they had the attacker side of Haven. And when it came onto the defender side, everybody just stepped up on that end. And that could be the type of gameplay here for LG too. They've had, with a different roster, won 12 rounds in a row versus Antbox to win 13-11. So it's never necessarily over for LG on this map when they're trailing behind. They have that tenacity that I mentioned at the pregame. They always have what it takes to try to fight back.
That was the one during qualifiers for First Strike as Shazam goes into the site flying with the knives out. 3 kills for Shazam. I mean, that's just what this man does. 5-1 for Sentinels. Again, the match that Vansili was referencing was against Antbox. They were down 11-1 after
Correct.
the first half, and they brought it back and won 13-11. They won 12 straight rounds from the defense. So, yeah, the roster was different because they hadn't made the changes that brought your boy Dre and Moose on board. But still, something to look at to just kind of potentially understand how things could end up going as this game progresses. And even looking at their halves across this event, when they played this map, their attacking side was definitely not that good. Against Energy, when they went into overtime, they only won 3 rounds in regulation on the attacking side. And yet it still went to overtime. So that kind of is the nature of the beast for them. Shazam from distance with the operator. And you can see quickly, they're like, yeah, nope, we're going to go somewhere else.
And that's a tough part here for LG, because if they want to run away from Shazam's operator towards the A long, they want to try to go back towards C, but C has all the trap wires set up and kill traps towards that left side of the site there for Dapper. So B seems to be the place where they want to try things out, and it pays off rather, because they open up the site. They at least get a spike plant and 6 on an early flank, which could be detrimental here for LG. So they're currently up inside the site, close range, aiming down the site of the Odin. Shazam is going to drop. But there you go. There's that first kill on that backstab, a second one, and the third one hiding behind the gong. It's going to be your boy Dre, who evens it up on a 1 versus 1. But they know where he's coming from, and your boy Dre swings on the right to clutch that 2 versus 1. And they put the point on the scoreboard for LG, where you think they probably wouldn't have had it because they were on a lower buy. And you just saw that, Buck. He ran right by the operator and did not pick it up. So LG are good with playing these rifles.
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing. You know, they say something about great minds, you know. I watched him run over
Why we don't fit in hats?
Yeah, exactly. You know, watching him run over that op, again, is just an indicator of things we've been saying all series long. This team just does not have that op presence, and when they have, it didn't feel like it really worked. Well, that'll be something they have to deal with early on in the round. The connection from so far away. A Proto's going to be watching from the sidelines for the remainder of the round. They do pop from the shadows, and now a response. Hunter's Fury coming in from the attacking side. Moose is going to send some pulses downrange. There's a run it back being utilized on the flank, but it doesn't really do anything because they were so far away from him at that point.
Yep.
I'm interested to see what happens here between Moose and Sick, who's coming in on this flank. Nice damage dealt, but Moose is wisely going to fall back. Empress being utilized by Thief in sight to improve that fire rate and obviously go for those heals and dismisses. Sinatra with the Odin spraying away. It's all up to Thief on sight. 1, 2, looking for another. It's Thief with 3. And now Sinatra's back sight. Why not make it 4? The same mag, it's all he needs. Thief comes up with a big play to give LG their 3rd round.
We didn't get a chance to see many of those highlight reels for Thief on that previous map of Split, and we were harping on him, saying, oh, maybe it's nice for him to play a Phoenix instead. And we probably thought that he was going to play a Phoenix into this map too, because Phoenix is still very good as a duelist on this map. But Thief continues to prove us wrong to say, look, let me play the agent that I'm comfortable with. It's going to be Reyna at this point, and he definitely puts up that highlight reel to be able to salvage a 2nd round here for LG, because they were looking good for this retake. That Paranoia was huge coming in from Zombs onto that default boxes, and the flank was coming up. 2 guys moving up from Garage side, and it's from the rapid fire from Thief and also the rapid answer from Thief to get those 2 kills that allows him to get the 3rd and 4th end round for LG.
LG starting to pick up some steam here now. Again, they've only won like 3 or 4 rounds in some of their other series on this map. So if they can at least do that, that's solid.
Yeah.
As they'll switch over to the defensive side, where they seem to be very comfortable, at least based on what we've seen throughout the tournament. LG initially puts presence towards A, doesn't like what they see, so they decide to switch gears. The B site currently being watched by Shazam, and you've got Sick, who's on the other side of Garage Window, but they're going to re-execute towards A. So you do have 2 players here. You've got Zombs, and you've got Sinatra. Sinatra up in heaven. Zombs playing just beneath.
30 seconds
Shazam
left.
will be there with the quick rotate coming in from Akon, but they've got to move quick. So there's a smoke coming out from the defense, smoke's coming out from the offense as the flash comes through as well. Paranoia onto Zoms. He gets his vision back just in time to catch Thief. Quick kill coming in from your boy Dre. Zoms still backside. The dart's going to give away the position of 1. Sinatra spraying away, and 6 going to chime in with 2 in the end as well. As the Odin goes burr on the site, 6-3 for Sentinels.
And you saw how worried LG were running into the site, because it's not only trying to figure out where those players were hiding inside the site with Zoms playing behind default, but it's that recon dart that was thrown by Sinatra, where you saw where I think it was your boy Drado is running into the site trying to look into the air, and while he looks into the air, he gets picked off by Zoms, and nobody shot it. So that pulsated into another player that allowed Sinatra to get those 2 kills. So just a very well-placed recon dart and a good timing on Sinatra to allow for them to get these rounds here, or that last round there. And we have an early recon dart from Moose, it seems, towards that B main. It doesn't detect a lot of information because it gets shot off by a spray earlier on from an Odin coming in from Sinatra, and also breaks it down. But with that, though, Sick is pushed down towards long C. He gets the first blood, but Thief trades it out. But that's no smokes right now for the team. So if they want to try to execute towards A, might be difficult. C might be difficult as well. Even B is difficult because it can't smoke blinks. So that's a huge player to lose right now for LG in this round, earlier on.
Shazam. Oh, I think the drone may have blocked the shot. So that keeps him alive for the time being. Nice movement to get them in. I thought for a second he connected because the kill came through almost simultaneously with that shot. But LG, they take this B site with force, and that works out so well for them. All things considered, dodge shots coming out as Shazam was set up with the AWP but just couldn't quite make it hit. And it'll be another round for LG, 4 rounds, matching their output thus far from previous matches where they've gone into overtime. Yes, you heard me again, Alex, overtime, a possibility here.
I'm ready for it.
LG, they're like, that's just what they want to do. They love those close games. I don't know what it is, but this team brings us to that point almost every time.
Yeah.
It's so fun to watch.
And our Proto, 1 not on a board, but that was a crucial cage that he threw towards that C-Link. I told you guys how difficult it could have been not having Stellar alive. So to be able to throw the cyber cage and allow your boy Dre to just satchel charge in the leer towards the right side, that's good teamwork by losing a smoke into the team to still very well execute into the B side and allow your boy Dre to get those 2 kills into the round to secure the round for LG with that pulse plant. With that, though, we do have a ping coming out. It seems as though it was potentially from a camera. But they are looking to execute quickly towards the C side for LG.
And there's no one here. All they had was the cam and trip wires down from Dapper. So they're playing retake on this C side as they were playing really far away, stacking their eggs towards more towards the A site, even towards B. So the spike will be planted. It's going to be a 5-on-4 now as Shazam picked up the ult orb on long A to unlock that ult. The Blade Storm comes out and it results in success immediately. Run it back going to be utilized. Canceled pretty quickly by Stellar, who's waiting around the corner. Has to be careful. Verticality coming in. He tries to dodge it by going inside. This is looking really good so far as Thief backs up. Has to watch out. They again try to get closer and closer on the site. Thief peeks a little bit more than I would have expected him to. And now it's down to just 1 here on the side of LG. It's Moose trying to stop this one from happening, but it's going to be another force buy round, working out well for Sentinels as the thrifty call gets made. LG, they just fall apart. They played aggressively and passively at the same time.
It's never over with whatever Sentinel buys on Haven. I said it before and I'll say it again, but even then, it was just unlucky, unfortunately, because that was a massive recon dart that came out from Moose that spotted 3 players towards the back of the site. So you saw Thief, the way that he was placing his crosshairs, like, okay, I'm trying to aim for the right one to get the one of those 3 kills, but the 4th one that wasn't ping was the 4th one that killed him towards that front of the site by the garage ramp, and that just foiled any plans on a pulse plant that LG had right after that. So yes, they had a perfect plant for them to play towards long C. It's just they were a little bit too aggressive trying to push in because they were smoked out in the front of the site. They didn't want to try to play for the spray. They just wanted to try to surprise attack after the recon dart. And the Stingers just, it was perfect there for Sentinels.
The Owl drone will go in first. Again, we talked about this earlier. It's not something we see a whole lot in Moose. It's not typically utilized, as much as it is from others. Now the showstopper's been popped, and they know that that shot came from backside sight, so that Sinatra going down, that Odin not going to make much sound this round. Nice nade going out as well. Odin's been picked up. A Proto in fantastic position. Curveball going to get dodged as well. A Proto beats it, and now it's down to 1. Another stellar take coming in from LG, no pun intended, as the man we were just saying the name of tries to get the last kill, but Thief gets there in time to steal it after utilizing Empress. A flawless round to cap off the half. 5 rounds for LG as they now switch over to a side they feel so much more comfortable on. We've already talked about it. We've practically beaten it to death. LG are so much better on the defense on this map than they are on the attack.
And to be able to get 5 rounds on the attack, you just gotta give it to them too. And who better than a Proto to get those 2 of the last 3 kills on that round to get that confidence moving into the second half when he's gonna be anchoring potentially towards that C side of the site or even A. They're okay with switching players around to be able to utilize Cypher's kits to their advantage, thinking of how Sentinels are going to play this map on the attacker side. So Thief now starting to get a couple of kills. That 4K that we saw, he also picked up the last kill of the first half. They're starting to feel a little bit warmer. The jitters are off here after a slightly mediocre performance on that first half. Let's see how it pulls out here on that second.
Sentinels gearing up for an A play. You've only got 1 player here currently, and it's a retake strat.
Yeah.
Moose is going to try and cancel. There's the first one, and the follow-up. They wisely dodge that to avoid the follow-up damage that could come through. An underhand nade. Uh-oh. It's
even better.
Buying some serious time here as they're trying to keep Zoms from planting this spike while the rest of the team rotates into position. Now, the problem is how much utility was just utilized to make that all possible. You've still got this threat in heaven, but now the smokes are starting to fade because on the other side, what utility was used in this position? There's the dismiss, and what just happened? All of a sudden, it's down to 1. Dapper now coming around the backside. A masterclass in retaking the A site put on by LG.
I was exactly going to say that, Buck, because it was nice that they delayed it with 2 shock darts and paint shells, but what's left now for them to try to take to do the retake? I saw the paranoia that was thrown. I saw the leer that came out from Thief, but when they actually threw those, there was a hot hands that was thrown by Sick at the spawn side. So Sentinels did a great job to hold that back, but then Moose had the recon dart that was recharged there towards that site that allowed then LG to just power through right after when the smokes dissipated to win that. And simultaneous kill everybody except for Dapper that was still on that lurk. And when you're on a 5 versus 1 where your team wasn't there to get a couple of kills, it's hard for you to play the flanker, the lurker, and also the clutch. So a big round for LG on that pistol.
LG trying to jumpstart this second half, and that's quite the statement to make. But again, their pistol round was okay. In the first half, they just struggled in the rounds that followed. This was actually when they let Sentinels back in. Shock Dart's going to come in again. It's not where it needs to be. It actually needs to bounce off that. So the Aldron's going to go out, and Moose is going to wait for his team yet again. The same setup as last time. Everyone coming through spawn, no one on the flank. Sick is going to do at least what he tried to do last time. Nice updraft to put him into position, but there's 2 players waiting there. As Sick goes for that hot hand towards spawn, it does slow them down. The flash wasn't what it needed to be. And oh no, this is not looking good here, as yet again, the pistols are proving to be valuable. It's come down to 2, and they're doing great damage on the site. They know where this last player is. He's right around the corner. Surely Sinatra can't do much else, as the paint shells come in just to be safe. A bloody round there, but it's still LG's to take as they tie the score at 7 apiece.
It was close, Buck. A round where they had classics, a ghost, not much invested, and they almost won that round just like they did on the first half of this map. Now you look at this round here, though, you can't really call this a bonus round for LG despite them winning that. So what happens now with the buy that they have? Because they also don't have a jet where they could potentially bring out Bladestorm to help out on a lower buy that they have here on the second half. They're still not out of this, not out of the woods yet for LG. It's a potential where Sentinels now with the range that they have with the Phantoms could win this round and still put LG on an eco onto the next. So this round, this is why they have to push aggressively, but a big curveball out of the smoke. That's a second kill. The first trade was in, and Sick is going to heal himself right after. So the curveball was nice for the trade-off, but it's still going to be Sentinels taking the upper hand in terms of health.
Dapper using the cam to watch this. I actually like that cam a lot. Watching the flank to see if they're going to be coming up through from mid, just to be careful on when he activates it. Doesn't want to be standing out in the open, accidentally just going for those jiggles and timing that button press wrong. You might say that, oh, come on, he would never let that happen. We've seen that happen before with players, so it certainly can take place. Moose using the Owl drone again to clear things out. The tripwire will be taken out as they move on into the B site, and it will be another attempted retake here for Luminosity as we see the Boombot come through. There's still one very close on the other side of the dark cover. A Proto is wise not to push in. You can see how they're setting up for this retake, or this post plan, excuse me, playing back in mid more, playing off the spike, but there's still one in an advanced position. It's Sick, and as he gets right to that spot, how?
Boy.
The communication does not come out from a Proto in time. Sick again was dealt damage early on in the round, does not survive in the fight against Stellar, excuse me, but the round pretty much already lost. They know where Stellar's at. As soon as he goes around the corner, Shazam is there waiting. 8-7, and LG's money is probably not that great coming into this next round, so I don't anticipate a buy coming through.
No.
Unless it's a split.
It's going to be a low buy, so you're doing whatever you can to be able to buy the rifles into the next. Again, I don't expect to see an operator, so which is why they're going to buy down towards that 2K range. But at the same time, when you were looking at how LG were playing that pulse plant, you were just hoping that Sick was going to eventually walk through that smoke. That Sentinels might make a mistake and try to gain more map control on the pulse plant by pushing through the links. That's why they never really moved from those positions. And Sick getting that first kill just fastened on a reaction there towards that A-link. Unfortunate for LG, as it looked pretty good for that surprise attack. But in the end, still, Sentinels hold strong. They take the lead, potential for 2 rounds in a row as Steve plays the off angle. Another one to peek out as he's trying to heal up. The big dart that spawns 2 more, so he's looking for some support, and the running back gets stopped. He's aiming down the sight to get the dink onto his opponent, but he still falls no matter what. So a half health is going to be Dapper. 2 more alive with them for Sentinels, but then 2 only here for LG. As the 2 players that are alive, I think, don't have those strong weapons there that they invested into the beginning of the round.
No, Stellar should, because Stellar was a player who got a couple of kills in that previous round. Does have a little bit of cash.
Yep.
He's got a stinger, and their Cypher can pick up Bulldog over the site. Wow, well, never mind. The value of the gun not there because it never gets a chance to fire. The Bulldog wasn't picked up by a Proto either. It's going to be a Sheriff, and they've got hot hands, dark cover, everything they can to try and slow this down from coming through from spawn. A Proto will start to peek, but there's 2 players backside. Does he expect to? If he gets this first shot, he does. Nice shot as well. Looks for a follow-up onto Zoms. Even if he kills Zoms there, realistically speaking, it's a free kill for Sick, because there's no way he anticipates that second player back there.
Yeah, I definitely don't think so. I think it was definitely the round in the bag here for Sentinels, and we talked about how you had a slow reaction from, I think it was Zoms, right, towards the sewer side when you had the frenzy up towards that towards the A-side defender side, and Stellar this time unfortunately wasn't fast enough, so both Omens trying to react quick with the surprise attack, but it's just Dapper that was quicker this time to get that entry kill. That could have been a crucial kill for Stellar and for LG to try to turn it around, at least to make things expensive for Sentinels as they take three kills out of that, definitely. And now we have a full gun round finally for LG on this fourth, as Moose is trying to spray with the Odin through the garage door, trying to look for information with the Owl drone too. It's not going to spot much, which now allows Sentinels to already push inside the site. Sick was in the middle of reload, I think, but he still manages to get the headshot into a Proto.
Spike planted.
Sick back in mid as the dark cover comes through. Shazam is by his side. Thief able to come back through the site. Thief did spot that pixel again, so they know there's a player close. And Thief just placed this one patiently. Big ult coming out from your boy Dre. They know what this other ult is coming in from as well. Somehow, though, he's trying to dodge it, ends up wandering into the path. Stellar from on high trying to play defense. The Neural Theft being popped to give away positions. They pull off the spike. It's becoming increasingly difficult as Dapper is very close. Double-digit rounds about to be secured here unless Stellar somehow finds a way, but not going to happen. 10-7 the score, but at least Dapper dies in the end. Sinatra's the sole survivor.
That was just well played by Dapper. So much focus happening towards the back of the window and behind the box under window. They failed to look close to the B side entrance where Dapper started lurking close from the staircase and made it into the smoke to actually hit the spike diffuser while he threw the neural theft. So really, the Hunter's Fury, yes, did some damage and allowed to get the kill onto Thief, but the biggest ult that helped the Sentinels to get that round was definitely the neural theft to give the information of where the last few players were and able to bring that surprise attack. So now you have another mixed buy coming in from the defender side. Six already grabbing the orb onto the C side, so that's not going to be in control of LG, and he's 1 kill away of getting to run it back. So now LG, they didn't try to aggress like they kind of did on the previous low buys that they had, so they're just going to try to rely on long-range battles with the Sheriffs that they brought in.
Sinatra's Aldrone will clear things out on short. Sentinels want to go back to the A site. A 5th map looking likely at this point as Sentinels up by 3 with a save coming in. We've seen some crazy shots from Thief, and there's the first one. Goes for the dismiss over the Devourer. It's the right call given the threat that was around the corner. The heal wouldn't have processed in time. Do they back off that one? It seems likely, but I love this read from LG. So they realize that that's happening. So they're going to start shifting their weight over to C. So Sentinels is going to expect this C site to be free and clear. Now they cancel the ult. What does that do to this push? Did they just keep going for it? And they're still going. So this is a full bore push into C. I don't think they anticipate more players being here. The ult comes out and the knives are just frantically flying. You can hear just flying at a ridiculous speed. The SMG's not working out so well. Stellar's still on the site. This time he finds success, but only 1. And it again comes down to 2. You've got one coming in on the flank. That's Thief, who found one of the early kills on the round with the Sheriff. Can he get there in time to try to stop the spike? No. As they start to set up, he gets the intel. And now Thief probably wants to peek for the heal. That's the heal coming through from the Devour Thief! Wasn't sure what we were going to see there, but ends up getting the kill. 8 rounds for LG. Hands the defuse over, and now they'll have 4 ults coming into the next round. From the Shadows, Neural Theft, Hunter's Fury, and Empress. The other side has run it back, so be paying attention to Sick, who is likely going to try to open something up. And he has to buy light. Light armor, rifle. You can see the guns being kind of decided upon right now. As Sentinel's money is in a really interesting state. If LG can win this, it's 2. So that'd be 9-10. They'd be tying things up.
Yeah, I think both of them are in a very tight spot in terms of economy right now too, right? If they lose that one for LG, could be potentially 12 now for Sentinels as well. And I like it. I almost cut you off before because when I saw Thief on that flank, I'm like, he probably picked up the Phantom that was left behind when they rotated back from Sentinels, and that was going to be the biggest play. To be able to pick up the Phantom and flank behind, that was going to be the saving grace for LG in that previous round, and it worked out in their favor. So now to run it back and try to take control here towards the, it happens so often that you have these run it backs that come from garage side, and they run straight up here towards the right side of the default boxes, where the person that's towards the back of the site is in an open spot, and I've seen so many times he just gets killed by the run it back with no support from spawn side. They got to find a way here to try to adapt to those moving forward for any of these teams playing the defender side. Now we have a 4-on-3. Neural Theft is out. They have 2 kills from a Proto, and Sick now spotted on that flank. So now they know that the spike has been planted. It's a 3 versus 2. We're walking down for Thief. He does not win that fight, so this could seal the deal now for Sentinels. The fake tap and Shazam long range of Proto falls, and now it's 11-8, and LG, like I said, should be in a broken bye.
Yeah, you know, you mentioned it, or I mentioned it coming into the round. The player to watch was going to be Sick with Run It Back. All he does is fly into garage. Curveball around the corner, runs straight into sight. There's a counter paranoia that comes in from Stellar to try to slow them down, but Sinatra was already on site right next to him. They had 2 players going up into the site simultaneously, and that put Stellar in the weird position back site where he just has to hold that line and hope for the best. There's no support coming in from spawn because there was a smoke down from Zoms. It was really well set up and executed by Sentinels, who now find themselves at round number 11. Oh no, are they prepared for this? And does Thief get this backstab or not? He actually ends up having to take it the other direction, so ends up having to look back, and luckily he does. He's going to stick around and actually stay on the flank. They're still watching it, though. He had a chance as they were focusing more towards the site. I don't think they'll be prepared for this second flanker coming through. But as I say that, your boy Dre falls off, decides to go all the way back up through spawn. Right out the
Dapper's
window
gonna
goes Moose. That should have happened and worked out better for them, but no. Flash is coming out as well. A 12th round looking ever so likely, and it is. Sentinels find number 12. Map 5 is just 1 round away.
Match point.
Yeah, it was so close. I mean, I think he dismissed right after getting a kill onto Zom, so he goes through the trap wire without connecting it. But after that was shot out, and you try to sell a fake that you're rotating, or you're trying to fake a second player for your boy Dre, when it was running back towards that mid side, Dapper, who was inside sewers, already heard it. So he knew that the late lurk was going to come. It was only going to be 1 player inside the spawn, at least for now. So easy curveball for a 2K there for Sick in the end for that round for Sentinel. So they're at match point to try to bring this to a 5th, but LG still in a position to be able to buy. But you need those players to step up right now. So Al Drone from Sinatra trying to break some trap wires if he can, trying to look back towards the back of the site. It does not break the trap wire towards the left side of default. So Proto is still in a comfortable position now towards the back of the platform. But the thing is, everybody else from Sentinel are trying to push up towards B, while we have a push up from A, but still alert from Dapper. This is going to be the biggest backstab for Dapper on inside the A site, because your boy Dre will never see it coming. So there you go. He gets picked off. Now they can push through the spawn as well. But the thing is, they also leave Thief unchecked at sewers. So Thief could look back and get this kill. Meanwhile, though, we will still get the plant towards B, and that's it. After that, Thief is going to look back towards A-Link, but Dapper is still lurking around. It's going to be so hard here for LG to try to retake a 5 versus 2. Zoms has the spike planet at the default spot in front of the B site, but the big backstab comes in from Proto, and there we go. They both die simultaneously. And everyone, we are now about to witness map number 5 in the grand finals. Is this the first finals that we go all the way into the finals? And what better here to witness it tonight for the Nerd Street Gamers Valorant Winter Championship?
Yeah, starting out 2021 with a solid 5-map series here in Grand Finals. A good performance from LG, but not good enough, as Sentinels, best than 13-8, will be moving into map number 5, which is Ascent. LG starts on the defense. It just felt like, at times, again, it was like a repeat of that second map where LG was just kind of clunky, and there was definitely opportunities, but things just fell apart. That round, the run it back popped and pushed into the C site. That round was pivotal. That was LG's round to get back into the game, but unfortunately, they do end up falling short. So now we go to map 5. We were expecting a 3-0, not in favor of LG, in favor of Sentinels coming into it. Then it looked like it was going to be a 3-0 potentially for LG, especially with that 10-4 scoreline on split.
Yeah.
But Sentinels keeps themselves in the game and forces us to this point.
Definitely in our hearts, Buck. As much as we wanted to say 3-0 on either end, we definitely didn't want to see a 5th map, and a 5th map we will get.
Everyone wants a close series when it comes to this. This is exciting stuff. This is what we live for. So a 5th map will be coming, but first, we're going to go ahead and throw things to a break, and when we come back, we will be jumping into map number 5 to see who will be crowned the champions of the Nerd Street Gamers Winter Championships. We'll return in just a bit.
All right.
One more map to see who's going to be hoisting the trophy at the end of 5 days of fierce competition. Unbelievable, but we found it to be somewhat just ridiculous. You know, the fact that we
definitely.
actually get to this point, I don't think anyone would have predicted a 5-map series between these two teams. Even when things were 2-0, I think a lot of people were thinking, man, LG's seriously going to 3-0 Sentinels. This is crazy.
Yeah.
But then we get here anyway. Day 5 almost done here for the Nerd Street Gamers Valorant Winter Championships. My name is Bach. Joining me on the show, Van Silly. I mean, this is just getting to a point of absurdity. Both of these teams fighting tooth and nail to take us to this 5th and final map. What are our expectations as we come into this 5th map? Again, we started with Icebox. Big win from LG 15-13. Then they win on Bind. Then they go up 10-4 on Split. You're like, oh my God, they might actually do it. Big comeback from Sentinels on that map. They win 9 rounds, surrendering only 1. And then on Haven, LG, who should have been in a better position switching to the defensive side, just couldn't quite match up against Sentinels, who are looking like they're getting warmer and warmer across this series. So looking at this 5th map, excuse me, is there a concern that LG is going to get bullied a bit by Sentinels?
I don't think so. I think LG's been there before too, looking at the other matches that they've played. I mean, like I said, when they lost their opening matchup versus Xset, they were getting spanked, and then when they fought them back into the lower brackets, the first map was Split, where they lost 13-4, and they still came back on reverse sweeps and best out of 3 to be able to continue to move forward throughout the bracket. Now it might be the opposite here for Sentinels, where they're looking for that reverse sweep instead. I just retweeted out Dapper saying, when will you guys learn that Sentinels are playing it for the fans? I think LG might do the same thing here for Ascent, because like I said, as much as a Proto hasn't been on point as we know that he has, or that he's capable of throughout the whole tournament, I think Ascent is going to be where he's going to shine. It's his playground on the defender side for sure. I'm not sure who takes the defense first. I think it's going to be LG. So you're walking into the 5th map with the Proto being very comfortable on this map of Ascent 2, and with Thief being able to get these highlight kills that we're witnessing right now, it could be that last map and the momentum swing that LG needs. The defender side of Ascent first. Where you're talking about Sentinels before, I think it was in a First Strike interview between Sinatra and Smix, where he said, look, we maybe need to work on our Ascent a bit, and then said, oh crap, did I leak something out? so they look good, at least, again, I said it before versus Antbox, but it's still going to be the question mark going into this game. It's going to be an uncertainty from Sentinel's performance versus LG, who proves to be very strong on this map.
So the big concern right now for LG is Shazam. Usually plays quite well on Ascent. Looking at their tournament history, they went 16-14 against Space Station earlier in the bracket play. Shazam finished at 34-18. Not a bad game. Considering it goes into overtime, obviously the stats get padded a bit, but they went back to that map later against Anbox, and again, Shazam had a strong game.
Yeah.
So definitely worried about that. You can also look at other games, though, from them, as it's been an inconsistent performer for them. They played against Envy on Ascent in the quarterfinals, and they got dumped on 13-5. So there's definitely a weakness here on this map. But again, when you look at those two teams, the team that beat them has a prolific opper as well. You've got Mummy and you've got Shazam. So there's someone that can match up toe-to-toe with him. Economic control is going to be important. That's going to be the biggest piece to this.
I do agree with you that maybe the weakness that they have for LG could be the strongest point for Sentinels. Because if Shazam or Mummy are playing operators for their teams in a top-tier caliber for a top-tier organization, they don't have any operators to fight back with the way that they're playing with their composition. Is it going to change maybe for this map? Is it going to be a surprise because we have seen Thief on the first map as Jet? I don't think so. I think they're still going to go with the tried and true is to continue to play with the rifles. So how do you play? Do you play against the operator because when they did on Haven, it didn't pay off? So do you play against the Cypher of Dapper or even Killjoy as for Dapper as well? We'll have to find out as we get into Pistol here.
Yeah, I think Thief is going to be on Reyna. Yep. Dapper is likely going to play on Cypher. I don't think he's going to switch to Killjoy. The only time we've seen the Killjoy play was when playing on Icebox. But at the same point in time, this map is a pretty decent map for Killjoy play. So I would love to see it. You know, you see like A-side retakes with Killjoy's ult. When you drop it in Garden, it's stupid. Like, you have to get so far away. You can't go anywhere. Either you push into defender spawn or you go back long A or bottom cat. Here they go fast up mid, though. Shazam's the first one in as they're charging up short. Stellar is there to try and greet them. Great damage coming out. Now, that's not great damage. Somehow, the pistol just doesn't connect. So the dink shot is in. As you see a breach brought into play from Sick here, again, illustrating his versatility when it comes to the agent pool. This man plays everything. Camera's going to spot one out. Knows one's close as well. Shock dart's on the money. It's suddenly down to 1. As he's trying to get away, can't get under in time to get for the reload as well. It looked promising for Sentinels, but LG, they scraped together a pistol round victory.
It's so cool to see Sick on a different agent every single map and a best out of 5. So we see the whole potential of what Sentinels has on every single map with the agent composition too. And it looked very tough for LG on that hold, at least onto the catwalk, onto the tree in that A main, because when you have these guys playing close range with the frenzies that they bring onto the table for Sentinels, they could get melted, and melted they did. It's just the retake was definitely quite good for Moose, who got a shot dart kill and a recon dart to allow for that retake to happen. I talked about Moose. We talked about it in the green room again. He was only 6 and 15 onto the last map block, but he also had 14 assists into Haven. So for him, if he could continue to convert those assists into kills into this game, it could still be very good here for LG on the defender side.
Set up right now on the A site where the spike's about to pop out. They're probably going to use this tailwind to get into position. Your boy Dre's in tree room. There's the smoke coming out, but no, they're just walking up, trying to catch them off guard. Thief might have to keep his head on a swivel as they were trying to come up short, and to his left, dink shot is delivered onto Sick, who's currently stuck behind the default box. Nice flashpoint coming out. Stellar staring at the surface of the sun. That is a quick A-site loss. And a good fault line coming out as well. Shock dart high into the sky. Is it going to be on the point of the spike? It looks like they've waited for the time being until that one lands. Cam's going to go out. Shock dart goes too deep from the attacking side. Paranoia does come through. Now they feel comfortable securing the plant, and they'll grab it. It's a 4-on-2 post-plant, and that just shouldn't happen. Sinatra jumps up, and yet again, another thrifty round for Sentinels. We've seen a lot of those.
Yeah, it's just unfortunate with, I think they waited on that smoke too for Zombs to get that ready as soon as they get onto Heaven. They get the spike plan, but at the same time, the spot where Sinatra's at is such a deadly spot for people trying to retake towards that A site. And when you only have 2 players with no pressure coming back from the tree side, you know that it's definitely should be, on paper, the post plant win for the attacker side. And it pays off here with the force buy that they had. They had a sheriff, that's why I call it a force buy, but just enough with the flashpoint that Sick had for that kill to open up the A side just made it so difficult there for LG to retake right after with such a long rotate coming in from the last 2 players. So you were allowed to set up. Now on this equal that you have for LG, you're just trying to press forward to get some map control and some surprise kills, but it's Dapper that just opens up the B side on his own, and the rest of Sentinels are slowly falling behind, but it should be an easy fight now towards his B side.
LG just looking to maybe drop a weapon or 2 out of the hands of Sentinels, but you heard it, the flawless round comes through. They don't struggle at all. So LG, now going into the first buy round, will face off against mostly SMGs for Sentinels. So we've seen success from LG in the pistols. They struggle in the rounds that follow. Their anti-ecos in those second rounds leave a lot to be desired. It's creating problems because they don't get off to that early string of rounds that you would typically get off winning the pistol. Instead, it puts their money in this weird state that it's in for the first couple of rounds. At least they're able to buy here, and it's going to include an Odin for Moose. We'll see how Moose uses that one over on the B site, spamming that wall, because we've mentioned it. Moose is not some hardened competitor when it comes to Valorant. He hasn't been competing at Valorant for so long, so curious to see how some of those pieces work. Now, the Rolling Thunder does come through. Shazam is going to drop Thief, who was up in heaven, and again, that's the A site lost.
Definitely an attempt to play a retake there for LG. They gave up the A site. They had Thief playing towards that balcony, hoping to surprise at least somebody for a kill and a dismiss right after, but he immediately gets popped off at the rafters, which makes it hard for this retake to happen. If no kills happen immediately here in the next 5 seconds, it sort of did with no map control right now, or gaining any control for the A site, they have to act quick. But now as they fall one by one slowly through the cage, it continues to trade, but Stellar's low on HP. You're pretty much going to try to save your weapon now.
The A site right now is weak, very weak. LG's defense on A, not working. As Sentinels has easily made it into A almost every time. Even in the pistol round they lost, they easily made it into A.
That's true. That's true. It's just difficult as well when you have Reyna trying to play towards the A side. Even if you're trying to stop them with even a smoke towards A main from Stellar, they're okay with for Sentinels to just push through because they have flashpoints from Breach. They have recon darts to go into the site, and they're just we talked about how good both of these teams are good with trades. So they're okay with just running through smokes and trade it out into the site. It just makes it very difficult for the compositioning you have here for LG. I'd like to see maybe a little bit more of your boy Dre with the paint shells to try to help out, which it seems to be the case right now towards this A main.
Zombs moved up in mid. Mid presence right now. Back in spawn. That interesting. The boom bot does end up chasing Sick down, who was up on top of the box. 2 sets of shots came out, so Thief should understand there's more than one person here. It doesn't scare him at all.
Good night.
Cage trigger.
A dirt nap for Shazam on the round as Thief delivers with a beautiful shot out of the Sheriff. Dapper is going to catch a shock dart right in the mouth. He'll be down to 70 HP as well. Zombs is still moving up in mid. Not sure if he was spotted by the jump peaks and spawn. This could be problematic, though. Zombs might have a freebie on the Cypher, who was sitting on back stairs, but the cam gets taken out as Zombs comes through, so that moves the position of that player around. There's the smoke coming out. A Proto doesn't react in time to Zombs' position. Ends up getting blasted. Quick shots coming out from Moose, though. He may be newer to competition, but he's certainly got the aim as Zombs starts to come through into the site. He's going to get spotted, though, on that back side of the boxes. And that's another kill for Zombs on the round. It's a 3-on-3, great damage dealt currently to the Omen, who peeks right into it. That was Stellar, who was low on HP. And okay, Zombs just popped Thief with a random shot into the smoke. And a 4th round goes on the scoreboard for Sentinels.
I don't know if through the X-ray, Thief picked up a weapon or something like that, because it kind of looked like the animation did. And maybe when the gun fell out or something, it was shown there by that one tap from Zombs right after. So really nice, really nice. A little bit of style points there coming in, even though it was an eco for LG, but it shows how much Sentinels are really making a mark here on the attacker side of Ascent. And we don't really have an answer yet, right, for LG, because when it comes down to the executions that happen towards the B side, it was an eco that you had for LG, so Proto wasn't really tested that much when it comes down to a full gun round. And when they have the gun round, they try to work back towards A, where, like you said here, Bach, they have much easier takes. This time, it's another passive play into the A side. Fully open sight here for the players to execute more Sentinels, and you're trying to play the retake. And this is too obvious right now as your boy Dre gets caught by Shazam trying to run through the smoke. But that, with the Hunter's Fury, is going to tag a few. Still pretty healthy right now, though, for the attackers as Steve gets the kill and dismisses away. This is big, but Shazam is still lurking inside that site.
He was just spotted, but it doesn't matter. Sig, just before the smoke goes down, does pick one up. Moose is going to wallbang Sick. A Proto there with the backup. And a final kill on the round for Stellar. The defender side of LG fire back, find a round there that they desperately needed to stem the bleeding. Because they couldn't let things pick up like they have on some previous maps where Sentinels was able to just get off to a ridiculous run. Again, we mentioned it. They need to control the money. It's important that they control the money, and that's why the op in the hands of Shazam, they don't have a match for it. And they know it. In that last map, they win a 1v3 or 1v2 or whatever it was, and your boy Dre stomps away, walks right over an op, and doesn't even bother. Doesn't even give it a second thought. Because he knows that it's not valuable to them, and if they were to lose it and give it over, that would be a massive mistake.
Yeah. But the advantage right now for LG, I'd like to think that because Shazam has purchased into the up right now, you don't have that explosive jet dash into the site with the operator, because you want to try to stay behind and get the picks when they try to go for these retakes. So this allows maybe better retake plays for LG when they could smoke towards the A main and try to fight back. But they have to try to get rid of Sick first. Has been a thorn in their side with the way that they execute with the flashes, especially on open sides for retakes. It's gonna be quite difficult here. So we have that recon dart that comes out from the shadows for a fast rotate over onto the A side. With 1 minute left on the clock, we are going for it. So the door will get closed. Thief is not gonna make a single sound, as he just want to wait for his teammate for it to rotate.
There's the ult being popped. The rocket comes in, but it's actually late. It doesn't deny the plant, which is what I think they were hoping for. There's still one currently in hell. Six gonna spray down two. Not able to find the third, and ultimately was running low on the mag anyway. Would have had to gun swap and hope for the best. That is a big ult coming in, but it was the paranoia that set that all up. You could see they were all blind. It was either the paranoia or it could have been a Lear. I think it was actually a Lear that went straight down. Okay.
I saw the black cloud that was on the planter for Dapper, so that it was a fat one. I think it hit maybe 2 or 3, at least maybe all 4 players that are hiding towards the plant in hell. So yes, definitely it was a key one there for Stellar.
Now, one thing I do want to point out, this is what, day 8 of Moose competing in Valorant. Moose started playing with this roster last weekend for the Complexity Valorant Invitational. So he has not been playing very long.
Yeah.
He started last Saturday.
I think your boy Dre talked about like 4 days of practice before heading into this event.
That's incredible.
It's pretty nice.
That's incredible. I mean, that really is unbelievable. It's been working out. Even though Moose's performance, it's not perfect, I wouldn't expect it to be.
Yeah.
He still has the individual aim. So the mechanics are there, just has to kind of get adapted to the game of Valorant. And it's not to say he hasn't been playing it, but competing and playing are two different things.
It's like Vanity with NRG, and they've been playing very well too, right? They got that upset onto Sentinels in the group stages. So welcoming all these ex-Chaos Triumph players into Valorant, and they're making their mark. But speaking about making their mark, there's a lot of cracks onto their ground set by the Rolling Thunder up breach, and that's Sick that does not get any. But he's stunned, and the Proto gets the kill again onto his playground inside B. So first to fall, hiding inside the smoke. As it bursts out, he gets a second, looks for the third, but does not connect, unfortunately. But he did his job. Your boy Dre connects onto one, and the flank from Stellar for the fourth, leaving Sick by him lonesome, looking for the plant inside the A site.
This might work out quite well.
No
at
time.
Least at first.
Quick,
yeah. You know, he's going to go heaven and wrap. So it's a free kill at distance to your boy Dre. Now that obviously gives up what's happening, but it balances the scales a little bit more favorably.
Why is Moose still in B, though?
This miscommunications, potentially. 3 seconds left, 2 seconds left. The plant comes through. There's the fault line coming out as the Lear does come through. We did fault him for not using his Lear as much in previous maps. Sick. In the 1v3, was a 1v4. I would admire that positional change if he went for it. If he tried to wrap all the way back around again, it would have been ridiculous, but obviously too great a risk, as there was no way to stop the spike from being defused had he tried it. So decides to stick around towards the door. 4 rounds now apiece for both LG and Sentinels. That early string of rounds wiped away. We're back at an even scoreline. The money is in a point where we'll see a buy come through from Sentinels.
Yeah.
But you're starting to see it build a little bit for LG, which is promising. A chance to pick up some steam here on the defensive side.
Yeah, and even on that 3 versus 1, you saw that Sick only had an Aftershock left, and I do like the fact that he didn't use it, because if he actually tried to shoot it towards the heavens, the rafters, it was only to slow down the clock, but as he would do so, he would also give away his position towards that door side, which would have made it harder for him to hold that 3 versus 1. But Sinatra, early in this round, you saw it, an early flashpoint to try to take control towards A main. They grabbed the Hunter's Fury, and he's going to try to ult it in, maybe. Oh, no. This is going to be a tough one for Thief. If it gets pinged out, thankfully he doesn't. It could have been a Hunter's Fury to kill him. But you see how he changes for Shazam. He goes with the rifle because he has a Phantom instead, and also Blade Stormer. We're waiting for that kill, the one tap. Easy one for Thief that allows him to dismiss towards the back of the site. That was a big early kill.
Catching a little damage there through the bots. Felt the need to change positions, understandable. Some shock darts coming through as well, putting him down on 78 HP. You've still got Dapper lurking up on Catwalk, but your boy Dre is watching this one like a hawk. He is staring that down, putting all the faith in the world, and his teammate just needs to keep holding that line. So again, another recon dart comes in,
I was gonna say,
and that's the ult being
Fury.
popped. What does this do for your boy Dre? He's trying to dodge it, and he gets caught shifting his position. Now a neural theft comes through. Zoms is going to pick up a headshot onto Stellar as well. Thief has to move as there's an aftershock coming in. Thief dismisses over healing, and now he's down to 10 HP. Has to just keep on surviving. Moose. Shock dart coming out, and a peek to follow. They're going to close the door and run to B. I actually love this play, because now Moose he's starting to realize, like, okay, they're actually going to try this on me. Can he catch them off guard as they try and make their way over? There's going to be one that was potentially holding, but they decide to drop the door instead and book it towards the site. Just enough time to get that spike planted as well. About 1 second left on the clock as it touches Paydirt.
And the recon dart doesn't ping him, but he's going to shoot with himself, so they know he's already close towards spawn. He's trying to look back towards that sidewalk. It's not going to get shot. So that doesn't spot the 2 players on sidewalk. Finally one. So he's going to be able to place it on the second, but he does not know that Sinatra is right behind because it only pinged 1 player. So that was a great round, a great play from the last remaining members of Sentinels to be able to get into that B site. That was Sinatra and Sick, currently on the top of the scoreboard here for the team. And we have a 5-4 lead in favor of the attacker side of Sentinels.
You know, I'm actually surprised here. There it is. Okay, so the buy does come in from Sinatra to drop to Zoms, but Shazam is going to a Stinger despite having the ult available.
Yep.
So wants some backup just in case the knives don't connect.
Correct. This is going to be probably another one of those let's dash into the site, and then if he misses the Blade Storm, then he has the Stinger at least to play close range.
There's the ult being popped. You can hear the audible cue, the double updraft, looking for someone playing Heaven, but not this round. They've actually got a 2-player tree room set up with your boy Dre and, unfortunately, Thief, who was playing that position as well, back off. Oh, the distance fight for a Proto doesn't work out. As they caught him on the backside, Shazam's going to get silenced by Stellar. Quick shots right to the dome, but the spike will be planted nonetheless. And again, we're in a retake, and again, it's on the A site.
Yep, and the thing is, because that shot was missed by our Proto, he decides not to go for the flank, and everybody's going to try to go back from Heaven with him only at tree. But everybody's falling back here towards the A main. Sick did his job. He got a bit of information, but also got a kill on top of that. So the last 3 players, thankfully that Sinatra's still alive because he can throw shock darts. He can probably have a recon dart very soon. They're spamming through the smoke as well, but it's going to be your boy Dre on a 3 versus 1. And now they're just going to play the time. You know Sentinel should have this. They're just going to bunny hop across the whole time. Oh, I like this though. And that's it. The round's going to come in for the Sentinels. And it's going to be 6-4.
It's going to make it cost a lot of money, though, but it's going to cost just as much for them. Everyone dies. It's a fire and brimstone round. It's the end of the earth. But we'll be back into it again, and the team with the most cash, it's kind of awkward. Like, it's not evenly balanced, but Sentinel's money isn't nearly as good as one might expect after winning 2 rounds in a row, because the last round came down to just 1. It was just Sinatra who survived, and then he had to drop. So the money is a little bit odd, but LG on the flip side, they're just going to force up. They're going to spend down to about 1,200. Thief does have the ult available. Empress, they've got Showstopper still. They didn't use it in the last round. And they've also got Neural Theft. It's going to be popped over towards A main. Not sure I agree with that call, as your boy Dre will be taken out almost immediately, trying to play aggressive against Shazam, who was up top, and he couldn't connect with the rocket.
1 man to fall early. trying to go for a high risk, high reward, but it gets punished instead. So they're at a deficit now for LG with, you know what? The way that I see it right now is, as much as we call the Protoss playground on the B side, every single time they're working on towards the A. And again, when they're on ecos, that's when they go B. So they do know, and I think that's where you respect the Sentinel play and the Cypher play of a Proto towards his B side, that he's trying to anchor on his own right now with only a pistol. And here comes the flash, and okay, just a Sheriff is good enough, and I think he was blinded. He gets a third kill, and now he gets paranoia.
Remaining.
The trip kill, he gets the fourth one, looking for the ace. So guys, you are leaving the B side to a Proto. And that's only Sinatra on a 3 versus 1. He does have a Hunter's Fury. He goes for the Owl Drone, but the fight's about to come from behind. And there you go, a Proto. I said he needed to step up. He does so with 4 Sheriff kills,
Last
2
round
blinded,
in the half.
1 paranoid, and the 4th was just beautiful.
I mean, how blind was he on those first 2 kills? The
You
second
saw
one,
that
he
timer
was
on that,
nearsighted, but he has the tripwire. I mean, unbelievable.
Beautiful.
Hey, Proto, feeling that Sheriff as it just works from the cubby. And Sentinels is probably like, you gotta be freaking kidding me. I can't believe that just happened. 5 rounds now for LG. They're positioned to potentially take the half. Moose is gonna gun down Zoms immediately. He is not happy. Now, that's gonna be Moose going to the sidelines for the remainder as the Hunter's Fury comes out from Sinatra. It's revenge there for the side of Sentinels. Nice rolling Thunder, but it's not going to deal with Stellar, who's still in position. He'll ignore the first one through, and that's the wise play, as there's one currently hiding inside that smoke. The SMG does produce a little bit there for Shazam. Nice nade! 6 able to get away. And now we find ourselves in another close scenario, a 2-on-2, but 6 on 1 HP. So much better odds here for LG.
You definitely like it, though. It's the Hunter's Fury that forced to rotate outside of the A site. You're trying to go for the retake. It was perfect trades, like you said, because the Rolling Thunder missed Stellar, and it was the only round at the half where he hit on the top of the boxes to the, it went unchecked. And now the last 2 players try to make it into the B side. You heard the camera, and now they break the trap wire. They're okay to play this 2 versus 2, but Sick, he still has 2 flashes. Despite having 1 HP, this guy has played multiple games where, especially a game where 1 HP does not matter. And it could still be doable here for Sentinels, because they also have Sinatra alive. Neural Theft also available for a Proto as he hears the Owl Drone coming out from the site. And it's going to be him and your boy Dre swinging together. Your boy Dre falls as Sick is the one that gets the kill, but it's immediately traded out, and he sees the shoulder of Sinatra. Now he breaks the recon dart, and Sinatra goes for the swing with the kill in the end to clutch that one and give the lead, the final round, or the final half to come up here of this series. 7-5 for Sentinels over LG as they now take the attacker side for Luminosity.
You know, looking at that last round, because of the tentative play style, that like pensive, apprehensive, playing back, kind of shy style from your boy Dre, just being afraid of what's potentially lurking inside A main and even coming up short potentially. That doesn't allow a Proto to get onto site and use the Neural Theft that he was just sitting on. There's dead bodies present. Had he tossed out the hat, they would have gotten the call much sooner that the rotate was in and they were heading to the B site. I understand it. It's just unfortunate how it all ends up shaping up. And then Sick with 1 HP. I mean, seriously, 1 HP. We've seen that twice now. A player from Sentinels with 1 HP finding a crucial kill. Last time it was Sinatra on Haven. This time it's Sick here on Ascent. As the nade goes into sight, Zoms is going to get forced out of position, and the carnage starts to develop, but it's in favor of the other side as Dapper gets a tripwire kill on your boy Dre. Did that really just happen? No. Have we ever even seen a tripwire kill at this level of play? Unbelievable. It doesn't matter in the end. Thief will find a 4K on the round. Again, he's got the cape on, and he pulls off the Superman impression quite well. 13-9 for the top performer for LG. But I can't believe we just saw a tripwire kill.
It's rare. It's very rare. And now you have Thief that's stepping it up here on the attacker side. Proto definitely riding off that high from the round that he had, the stellar hold that he had on the B side. And now they have the pistol round, but again, it's Sentinels with pistols, Sentinels with a Frenzy, Sentinels have a Ghost. They're going to sell it back actually for Dapper. So only a Frenzy into this round for Shazam. No armor. They could use the advantage of the Spectre's long range as Shazam dashes into the B link. So he's in a good spot because the bomb, or should I say, sorry, the spike is dropped right at the entrance of that link. Finally, your boy Dre picks it up, but that's a big flash. Proto gets the first kill though, and the second to save his teammate, and Stellar in the back of the shack gets that frag onto Shazam. So a 5-on-2, Thief now spots one, a nice tap to Dapper, puts him to sleep. And 1 to go, and LG are looking for a flawless round in the second round of the second half.
Solid follow-up to the pistol round. Again, the second rounds have proved to be problematic for LG, especially looking at the last 2 maps. This time around, though, on the attacking side, they win the pistol and the round that follows. There will not be an AWP in play, but this is a bonus round coming out for LG. You can see 4 SMGs currently deployed. There's also a Phantom in the hands of Thief.
Yeah.
Thief is 1 point away from Empress, so there's a possibility that we could see that ult popped very early on if they can gain control of an orb somewhere on the map. But right off the bat, it looks like they want to go to mid.
Yeah. And it's definitely a good thing there that they were able to get these rounds and also shut down the push that Shazam had on that previous round, because you could definitely see from Sentinel's point of view that they were trying to tally up some kills where Shazam might not need to buy a Phantom into this round and go for Blades instead. But with this bonus round, they go for an aggressive push through tree, and amazing trades happening, though, for both sides. It's evened up, tallied up on a 3-3 overall. Low HP is going to be loose as the flank comes in from Stick, but gets traded out once again by your boy Dre. Sinatra on the top of Heaven's side. Shot starts to come down, and he does not connect with those. But low HP is going to be your boy Dre going for the plant, and you have Shazam coming in from the doorway side. Now, Showstopper, a trade. Shazam gets the kill before he gets blown to bits. That allows Sinatra, who is alive the whole round on this retake, to be the sole player to come back for the defuse.
This feels familiar. I feel like we've seen this round before.
Yep.
A buy round won by Sentinels with 1 player surviving. It's Sinatra, and I'm pretty sure it was Sinatra the last time we saw something similar to that. And it's been that story, actually, throughout this entire best of 5 that we've seen those rounds going that way in favor of Sentinels. It started out that LG were the ones winning those rounds. But they've since lost that luster, and they've handed over that crown to Sentinels. Sentinels are up 1, but again, that was a bonus round. So that's about as effective a bonus round as you could ask for with not winning. Finding 4 kills and a spike plant, that's what you want. Now, they did waste an ult, kind of. I mean, they used an ult. I won't say if it's wasted or not. They caused some economic damage. Zombs peeking off a great paranoia. Does fantastic damage as well. Got 2 targets pretty low, one of them being your boy Dre. Now, obviously, Thief can heal up should a kill come through and an orb get dropped. But that's your boy Dre getting dropped by 6, so your boy Dre takes some licks early on and ultimately gets pushed aside by Sick in the end.
Door is closed right now, so they want to try to push through the spawn. And this is actually a good opportunity as nobody's really watching it. It's Dapper that's peeking back and forth, watching the tree side a window and also watching spawn. But as you made it now towards the archway, this could be big. It looks like it might be a split towards the B side no matter what, and leaving Thief behind to cut the rotation. And as they're pushing into the site, it's a Proto opening up with 2 after the recon dart that came into the site that kept them off guard. Now Thief gets the frag onto Dapper. Shazam trades it out from the mid side. They know where one player is rotating from, but where the second one is still unknown is going to be Zombs from the defender spawn. But he's moving very slowly. Could be a round where Sentinels decides to save, especially now that Shazam got spotted, by the Owl drone. And he's low on HP too. So it's definitely the right call right now for Sentinels to save. We're going to tie things up on an 8-8, and you try to make things expensive as Zombs is holding towards the defender spawn, hoping to catch a kill early. But if he doesn't, he also wants to escape with his rifle because they don't have much to work with either. Unfortunately, he only gets 1 kill out of that, as is not able to run away.
Tie score. LG brings us to this point. Oh, well.
That's not bad, actually, after all.
Yeah, okay. LG loses a piece of their attacking front, as Moose gets clipped by the detonation radius and dies to the spike. Not what you would want to see, as you can see Moose's money is not great. So he has to go down and buy a Bulldog. There's a SMG in the mix as well. Looking at the other side, it's just as bad. You've got 2 Phantoms, a Stinger, a Frenzy, and a Bucky. The difference is what you just heard. Watch this coming out from Shazam. That's Bladestorm, the knives. So there's more than just an SMG in his hand. He's got some added firepower, and you hate to see that. LG loses one of the biggest pieces of their attacking side right away as Shazam pops an updraft and immediately dices him up.
When I see that there's still a buy going in for Sentinels, no matter what, I'm still scared. And the Bladestorm opens things up. That's going to keep LG guessing. Yes, they lost Thief into that one, but they lost a player with the Spectre trying to get some information early into the round towards mid. So the rifles are still in play. So the 3 ARs and the Bulldog looking to go for a crab walk peek that somehow Moose wins versus Soft.
I know
now they pick up the orb, they clear out wine, the neural theft. They know that there's 2 players now playing towards the B side. Do they want to push in on this?
That's the question you got to ask yourself. With 39 seconds left and no real control of mid, do you really feel comfortable trying to rotate all the way around to B? We all know how long that rotate takes.
30 seconds left.
So they'll use this Aldrone to try and get some more intel, as they do intend to go towards B. You've still got Dapper on site, but yikes, Dapper is taken out very quickly. Shazam's knives don't produce much success. After that early kill, that's all they got. Spam through the door from Sinatra, but it's not really where it needs to be. Now, Moose has a nice backside play, but it's the Bulldog, and the gun doesn't really work as well once the target falls down. The Aldrone from Sinatra will give away the position. Recon Dart going out as well. Not going to do so much. It does actually spot quite a few players. Thought it would have died a lot faster. Sick in that 1v1 with Moose and mid, only had a Bucky, so you can understand why Moose doesn't really catch much damage from Sick. He might be able to convert on a kill as they come out from short, but he's also thinking, I could maybe upgrade a gun here. There's going to be a gun sitting at top mid, wants to go back and grab it, but it's only an SMG, so not exactly a great upgrade. Oh, he might have this. Oh, thought maybe for a second. He wanted it pretty badly.
Definitely. I think just to try to salvage a kill, because he already had backup that is stellar, so if he died, there was already 1 or 2 players coming back from the orb, so no matter what, he probably wouldn't have been able to save that rifle, but to definitely do more econ damage moving into this round, it doesn't pan out for Sentinels. But with that force bite that they got, they're still going to be not looking that great into this round here for Sentinels. So it's another round for another Bucky for Sick, couple of frenzies this time. Thankfully, at least for LG, there's no knives for Shazam, but they are 1 orb away to try to get a Hunter's Fury for Sinatra.
Moose using the Aldrone to get some intel on A. We'll spot out at least 1 player who was sitting in hell. 3 ults available for Sentinels. From the Shadows, Neural Theft, Rolling Thunder. LG does have Empress and From the Shadows as well. Now the spike is back towards B. But there's a couple of players currently pushing up mid. One just kind of hanging back on A. That's Moose. But it seems like the rest of the team is starting to move back towards B a little bit. Would love to see them gain some mid control here. There really isn't much mid presence coming in from Sentinels in the round. They're basically banking everything on this being a B play. So this is the worst possible place for LG to go currently. Look at the setup. They are so prepared for this. Now the camera might give away what's happening here. Six in position. The shotgun doesn't produce as much success as one might hope. The nade's right on the money as Tapper tries to escape that detonation. Not gonna happen. There's still one on the site. It's Shazam, who's here with a pistol. He's got backup as well. The classic burst fire misses initially. Jumps down, goes for the jump shot. Stellar is on the money. That should have been way better for Sentinels, all things considered. They had that B site with so much presence, and LG walked right into it. What's surprising is Sick with the Bucky, point blank, only gets one.
The reload that you have for that is a little bit slower here than the buck shots that you could get with the Judge. So unfortunately, connecting with the first and then just hastily going into B main does not pay off to connect onto the second one, and how they spotted that Logs player was just simply opening, not by face checking for LG. A simple camera thrown by a Proto allows for them to get all that information to weaken out that crossfire from Sentinels to start things off. But here it becomes dangerous. Finally, in the second half, they have enough money here for Sentinels, and we have an operator in the hands of Shazam. Can they get something with this? The Owl Drone to peek out towards mid, and look how far Shazam is pushed out with that. The Owl Drone would not spot anything, and Shazam is looking towards Link. Thief, is he going to be able to win this one off this swing?
Oh my
he's
gosh.
looking towards B main.
He was
so
like
close.
He was like a pixel away from showing himself there. As now Shazam has to change positions, but my goodness, if only they knew what we knew.
Oh no, no, no.
Yeah. So close to losing his life there. But honestly, somewhat by chance, that doesn't end up happening. Here comes the play toward A. You've still got Thief lurking. Shazam with the nice shot. Oh no, they didn't hear this. Stellar's able to sneak into position. They cover up the sound with the ult call coming out. Moose finds 2 as the Rolling Thunder comes through. You've still got one lurking through mid. And you've got Hunter's Fury. You've got Empress available as well. But the lurk is a little slow coming up from short. And now they're able to set up and wait for it. 14 seconds left. They have to make a move.
Last player standing. One enemy.
I was going to say they're not going to check the generator. And now off the Lear, there's no time left. Dapper jumps in for the kill onto Thief, and he wins that round there for LG. Just that Owl Drone not seeing that player at generator was the detriment there for that double swing into the site, because you saw when they walked in, they weren't even paying attention to anywhere near where I think it was Sick holding there. So they were focused on Heaven a little bit too much. You're right, Bach, they were a little bit too slow, but if only that Owl Drone spotted that person towards generator, definitely was a Hunter's Fury kill for a 2 versus 1.
I wonder what the call was with Thief. What was the original plan? Yeah. Because it felt like Thief was really just kind of disconnected from that play, which is weird given how typically he's a big part of the play, or at least they want him to be. He has that insane pop-off potential. We mentioned it coming into this. He has, I think, second most entry kills coming in when he was coming into the grand finals of anyone at this event. However, he also has the highest first deaths.
Yeah.
So obviously, one goes along with the other. You want to play that aggressive role. You want to get those entries. Sometimes you're going to die as a result. The Boombot gives away the position of Sinatra, who tries to change his spot. Goes for a dart, gets it out of position because of this. The Hunter's Fury pushing him back. Not a single pulse hits, though, as Moose struggles to line that one up.
And I love that, because as he's running away, he also throws a recon dart onto the wall, which means as he runs away, if they're actually trying to run with the Hunter's Fury and split towards the A side, that would have been the call to get Zoms ready to look by the tree side. With no contact, a weaker B side, they're going to try to split mid to B. And let's see if Sick and Dapper can hold it in.
Sick's got the flashes there. Flashpoints coming out. There's the ult from Sinatra delivering as the camera actually gets flashed of all things. Shazam! Putting it in ADS and burst firing away onto 3. You've got one player remaining, and he's going to get taken out by Zoms, who is inside the site. We're tied up at 10 apiece, and it's a flawless round for Sentinels. It's absolutely massive as it reduces LG back into either force up, split by territory, or full save. You've got players with money, but you got 2 without. Thief doesn't have enough money for the buy, but Moose, A Proto, and Stellar can all go into this with rifles.
And this is also where you probably look back at the patch notes here, Bach, realizing how that decreased speed of 35% for the Omen smoke to come out was so late for them to try to get into the site there for LG. They were able to open up onto 3 kills before that smoke came out from Stellar. So that has to be looked out for the next time they want to try to execute towards this split.
In mid, they're going to get spotted out by Sinatra's drone. His ult last round, insanely valuable. Moose's could have been used for a positional advantage, but it didn't do damage. It really just forced Sinatra back. They didn't react off that. It was just a temporary change. They're now going to go for some mid control as they've gotten everyone up into the market. There are 2 players playing towards B currently. You've got Breach, that's sick, who's back towards spawn, and then one in sight. Zoms has been spotted in tree room as well. There's going to be a dash coming in for some backup over here, but they start to make their way in, and Shazam has to back off, surrendering site control. They actually go for a pivot, and they manage to get onto the A site, and they'll be getting a spike plant out of this as well with the player advantage. Again, this buy was scraped together. We'll see what they can do with it. They still got the Empress ult to rely on. Nice nade coming out as well. That forces one out of position as your boy Dre finds one on Sinatra. Shazam's dropped down. They weren't prepared for it. It's a 3-on-2, and there's a dart deliver that forces Sick back. Dapper's still going to hang out. 2-on-3, again, they do have the neural theft. That'll give away the player position. So as they fly in, there's the dart giving away, the neural theft giving away the positions, but the boombot was out as well. So Stellar and your boy Dre both get involved. And it's 11-10. That's a round stolen away by LG. That's something that Sentinels has consistently done to LG throughout this whole best of 5, is winning those scraped together buys. We haven't seen that in a while from LG, though, where they've been able to do the same thing back.
And what a round to do with it now.
Of that one round with A Proto and the Sheriff.
Definitely. What a round to do with it now. And on top of that, I just love how mechanically your boy Dre was trying to stay alive as much as he can, or if not, help as much as he can with that retake that happened. Because a neural theft and fully flash, for him to be able to think fast enough to put a boombot onto the ground so that he could support his teammates no matter what, even if he dies, it allows for that swing of the generator to happen to get that kill. So I really like those plays in order to help LG move in tier 2. 11-10. 1 map in the lead, 2 rounds to be able to win the series. Mind you, this was 2-0 to start things off for LG. 2-0, winning Icebox and winning Bind. Sentinel comes back into the following 2 maps to finally see a set here down to the wire. Potentially going into the last round of regulation right now as the Owl drone from Sinatra once again spots 2 players at Sabrosa. Well, that could have been an early dink there, but unfortunately it doesn't happen. They break the door right away, and they're looking to explode right into the B site, where they spray at the same time and take down Sick. Dapper in the back of the site as his camera gets broken. Both cages are up. Trap wire as he gets sprayed. Gets the first kill, but cannot spray transfer into the second one. A 4-on-3 right now with 2 rotating at the spawn site, and Zoms still late. This could be another round where Sentinels decide to save unless Sinatra gets a kill early. He's already looking to clear out the sidewalk. An ult towards the mid side from Stellar to look for the lurk at 21 HP. He's going to come face-to-face versus Shazam. Shazam takes the upper hand. It's a 3-on-3 now. Still very doable here for Sentinels, which is why I'm questioning why you went so early on that peak lurk later on. But now they spray it back, thankfully, for a dart that came out from a recon from Moose and a spray through the shed. But Shazam at the staircase. Another dart coming in from Sinatra this time, but it's Moose that connects with the 2 kills. And ladies and gentlemen, everyone, we are now at map and series point for Luminosity Gaming over Sentinels.
Man, I just want to say so many curse words watching some of these rounds play out. It's just unbelievable how we've gotten to this point.
Yeah, it's insane. It's
Sentinels.
They're
trying. They're really trying to keep this game alive. They go down 2-0. They claw back, force us to this map, and then LG is just hitting their stride late in the game. 12-10. They're 1 round away, Alex. I can't believe that.
Me neither, dude. And when you're looking at it too, it's it's a whole different type of Sentinels that we watch. It's this is a serious face Sentinels. There's no 360s, continuous spam through the bodies and stuff like that too. It's we are trying to win right now, and LG are still showing that they're strong here on the attacker side, which is why I said in the first place, why didn't LG take a Sen over Haven? Maybe they're playing for the fans. They want to gain new fans here for Luminosity Gaming, and they definitely gained a fan in me.
You know what? We haven't seen in a long time either. Something that he's done in almost every other series. No teabags from Dapper. that is an illustration of serious mode being activated if I've ever seen it, because that man loves to go in and goof off and have some fun with that one.
Oh yeah.
Here comes the ults being popped. Hunter's Fury going out. Zoms is fully blind on sight. The boombot comes in, but it's actually the shots coming out. A Proto picks up Shazam as well. That's the B site lost. As you can see them starting to send players over to B to try and support LG
30
is
seconds
moving
left.
in that position. It's going to be up to A Proto, who's going to spot them first as they come through from spawn. Quick pickup from Sinatra after Sick goes
One
down.
enemy
The
remaining.
Owl Drone will go out next, but it's all down to one last player. Sinatra with an SMG. That is it.
Attackers
LG
win.
are your champions. 3-2. They pick up the win over Sentinels.
Oh my God. Everybody put your hands together. Give them the props that they deserve. Luminosity Gaming 3-2 over the Sentinels of all teams. The Team Luminosity Gaming that got knocked down into the lower brackets in their opening game versus XSET. Winning into the lower brackets, even going 0-1 versus XSET in the lower brackets, winning that in 3 maps, winning all of their matches in 3 maps, winning this match in 5. These guys, like I said, it was all a story of tenacity for this team throughout this tournament, and they definitely proved it. Man, Yogi Bear, Trainer, and everybody else from LG right now, you deserve my hat off. Maybe Bach, you too. Show your hair. I don't know.
Yeah, you wanna take the hats off? Let's go. I'll take mine
Take
off.
the hat off. It's so
There we go.
flat,
Like
most
it's
likely
my,
right now.
my hair's all like messy here. It's looks great. Hats
They
off
deserve
there.
it. They deserve
There.
it. They
Hats
deserve
off
it,
to
for sure.
LG. That was absolutely fantastic from LG. They looked great. Even though at times it was a little bit rocky, the fact that they even found themselves on a map 5 against a team like Sentinels, again, we talked about it all day long. Coming into today, I don't think there was an expectations that LG was even going to win a map. I think a lot of people would have said, this is an easy win for Sentinels. You looked at the odds on websites like Spike, and it was like 86-14. I saw 90-10 somewhere else. They were incredibly low odd underdogs, but they stay with it. And they are so incredibly resilient. Even when it seemed like they were out, they were right back in it yet again. So many big plays on an individual level and also at a team level coming in from LG. Whereas that was early on. It felt like early on they had really good team synergy. As the series went on, it did seem like that kind of dissipated a little bit. But it came back in the end, and they end up finding a huge win here on map number 5 to pick up the W and hoist their very first trophy.
I'm speechless, Bach. This has been an insane series, and what better way to finish it off, right? We talked about how, you know, tier 1 teams, tier 2 teams, where does LG kind of stand? Could they be considered tier 1 now? I mean, to win versus a tier 1 team is one thing, but to be able to win in a best of 5, so going all through the series and still be able to win it, it shows how good LG has moved up in a span of 4 or 5 days of practice here, Bach. Let's keep that in mind as well. Moose only just joined a few days ago, and your boy Dre shortly, like not that much longer after that, not that much longer before that, rather, replacing Venerated and Shaija. And they've been in situations for LG where they have players like Shaija and Mata that joined, and they still did pretty good, for example, in the Pulse series. But every single time that they come in with a new roster, they're putting a huge impact. And this is the biggest impact that they've done to be able to get the first place here in the Nerd Street Gamers Valorant Winter Championships. With that, are they the new Immortals for me? Definitely.
The last time this roster, or at least the core of it, won an event was July 5th. They won a Nerd Street Gamers Open for $1,500. Prior to that, they only won one event, and it was a Valorant Academy event in May of 2020, $700. Other than that, second place performances only. That was the best that they could do.
Yeah.
This totally catches everyone off guard, as Luminosity looked absolutely awful in that first series. I'm going to be honest, they looked terrible in that opening series against XSET, almost as bad as my hair. So they looked that bad, but then they just stayed in it. We were ready to write them off. We're like, oh man, they just got dumpstered by XSET. It was like 13-4, 13-4.
Yeah.
I think this team's going to get knocked out right here. They just kept with it, kept staying at it. It seems like XSET, honestly, is just their kryptonite because they struggled against them as well in the Complexity Invitational.
Yep.
But here, they just stay with it, keep fighting, picking up big wins, and over time, you're like, okay, maybe that last win wasn't a fluke. And now you're starting to wonder, okay, where does this team actually stack up? Like, where in the ranking do they currently sit?
And I just look real quick too, aside from an 0-2 that they had versus XSET on the opening matchup, every single one of their games went the distance. All in best out of threes, and all always took 3 maps until they got into the grand finals. It took 5 maps. And when you're looking at the stats onto the last map, you have your boy Dre on the top of the scoreboard for LG. But who's that in second place? It's a Proto. A Proto for me, definitely the MVP of that map, at least to be able to get that eco round for LG, gain that momentum, which allowed Thief later on to get a 4K into the pistol round on the attacker side and get the momentum for the whole team to be able to win this victory versus Sentinels in 5 maps.
Here's an insane stat line I do want to share because I feel like it's important.
Yeah.
You know, even though Sentinels lost this, I could make an argument that Sick is potentially a top 3 player in North America. Sick finishes with 165 ADR, top for his team across the series, 101 kills, 84 deaths, 39 assists. He played 5 different agents on 5 maps. The fact that he's able to do that, not only just swapping agents, it's not like he went from like duelist to duelist. He played support, he played a duelist, went back to support, went back to duelist, went back to support. But to be fair, he went from Sky to Raze, Sage to Phoenix to Breach. Yeah. Completely different play styles on all of them. And he manages to pull stat lines like that while also having 250 ACS and 22% headshot ratio as well. That is fantastic work. Alex,
huge.
I mean, this is an incredible grand final, definitely the likes of which we might not get for a while as LG pull off a stunning upset over Sentinels, but that is it. We are done. The Nerd Street Gamers Winter Championships is over. Is there anything you'd like to add before we bid adieu to our wonderful audience at home?
Definitely the audience. Thank you so much. Thank you to all the teams. I think, again, this sets precedence to what's ahead here for North American Valorant. And, of course, a big thank you to Buck and Nerd Street Gamers for having me. Always humbled by the experience to be on this broadcast. And to be able to cover such a beautiful grand finals, I couldn't ask for a better start for 2021 myself.
Well, chat, thank you guys so much for watching. One thing to tell you before we leave, just a quick reminder. It doesn't matter who you're rooting for at home. We're always biased against them. Thank you guys for watching, and we'll see you guys in the next one.
Peace, guys.